What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 6 SP Chapter 126 Ling Yun's head touch kill. Steel Bankai this time. Although the eyes reflect the continuously shining purple thunderclouds, Ling Yun made a move that surprised everyone. Instead, he put away Yan Mo. This is too bullying. Shojiro Sasaki was impatient. Shikai is like this, even Bankai is like this. Can't you be a good person? Who do you look down on? Although he released Bankai's power, Shojiro didn't have any killing intent from the very beginning. That is because he thought from the bottom of his heart that he was no weaker than Ling Yun. But facing what is happening now, Shojiro is impatient. Ling Yun's suicidal behavior made him both angry and regretful. In case something happens to Ling Yun, he will be blamed. Ling Yun 3 seats, are you crazy? I can't afford this kind of 23 joke. Seeing that the 11 thunderbolts were about to hit, but Ling Yun still stood still, Shojiro Sasaki roared anxiously. Unfortunately, it was too late. The purple thunderlight fell to the ground, and he could only watch helplessly as Ling Yun's figure was swallowed. Why did he commit suicide? Looking at the 11 thunderbolts and the indiscriminate bombing scene, Shojiro Sasaki shook his head sadly. In his opinion, no matter how strong Ling Yun is, it is absolutely impossible for him to survive the thunderstorm. I knew the result would be like this, and I shouldn't have agreed from the beginning. Shojiro Sasaki was heartbroken, full of guilt and self-blame. He silently chose to take the blame. Facing Yan Lingwan's Bankai, even if Ling Yun can resist, he will end up seriously injured in the end. The demise of a super genius is undoubtedly a regrettable loss for Gode 13. Vice Captain Sasaki, can you terminate Bankai? Outside the five-fold barrier, Katetsu Aizen's anxious voice came. I saw her clinging to the barrier, staring at the thunderstorm intently, with an uneasy expression. Behind her, the 4th Division team members had already assembled. Everyone is ready for treatment. Once the thunderstorm has passed, rescue will be done immediately. Vice Captain Yun, even if I really want to, I really can't do it. Shojiro sighed heavily. In fact, he was the one who was most worried. If something really happened to Ling Yun, I'm afraid the silver-haired old man will shut himself down every day in the future. Then we can only wait. Everyone cheers me up, and we must start the rescue as soon as possible. Katetsu Aizen's eyes darkened. The uncertainty of Ling Yun's life and death always affects her heart. Yes, Vice Captain Yun. All the team members are ready to go, and their eyes are focused on the thunderstorm. Just standing on the edge of the enchantment, even from a relatively long distance, will feel a tingling sensation in the scalp. It is not difficult to imagine Ling Yun, who is in the center of the thunderstorm and is the target of the bombardment. It was blasted into slag in minutes, at the same time. The center of the thunderstorm. I really don't know if I don't try it. It turns out that the feeling of lightning is more comfortable than imagined. The people outside the barrier are still worried. Ling Yun in the center of the thunderstorm is enjoying a rare thunder bath. The blood vessels have been dredged, and the legs and feet are no longer sore. Ling Yun's face was full of comfort, and she stretched her waist. Although he was bombarded by 5 thunders, there was no fluctuation in his heart, and he even wanted to laugh a little. If it wasn't for Zhang Yang, who was too afraid, Ling Yun even planned to do a set of radio gymnastics now. Of course, the reason why he is so unscrupulous. That is because the surface of Ling Yun's skin is covered with a layer of holy light, which is a sign of the activation of divine magic. That's right. Although bombed by a thunderstorm, Ling Yun not only was not injured, but achieved the desired goal. The reason why he put away Zanpakutō was not just for death. It's just to procrastinate for time and get a deeper understanding. After all, Bankai is not common, and it happens every time. Only with enough time can it be more convenient to comprehend. Yan Lingwan Bankai, he is bound to win, soon after. The thunderstorm finally dissipated. The area that was originally bombed turned into a scorched wasteland. In the slowly rising dense fog, there was a burning smell. The moment the thunder dissipated, Ling Yun's figure appeared, and the audience was in an uproar. WDNMD, really, Ling Yun is still alive. Look, he's actually smiling. Why does it feel like he took a bath? There were exclamations one after another. Facing everyone's amazed eyes, Ling Yun's figure quickly became clear. Although he was bombarded by the thunderstorm, he didn't have any scars on his body, but he felt a new life. Isn't he really a monster? Not only the onlookers, but even Shojiro was also stunned. The silver-haired old man felt incomprehensible, and even his jaw was almost dislocated because of the large opening. As the master of Yan Lingwan, he knows the power of Bankai better than anyone else. Even the captain, when he was hit in the front, still left a scar on his forehead. But now, Ling Yun was not only unscathed, but even full of vitality. This made the silver-haired old man a little suspicious of life. Vice Captain Sasaki, I'm really sorry to make you worry for nothing. Ling Yun stretched out comfortably, enjoying the sunshine. If it is not to maintain the image, Sparrow Step Shojiro almost couldn't hold back the swearing. Listen up. Is this still human? even expansion must have a limit. The silver-haired old man's face was covered with black lines, and his lungs were almost blown out. Ling Yun, 3 seats, you win, and I am convinced that I lost. Vice Captain Sasaki has won the prize, and Yan Lingwan's Bankai is also very strong. I almost lay dead. Ling Yun smiled. She usually has a restrained personality, but in the eyes of the 4th Division team members, she has always maintained a majestic image. Contrary to Katetsu Aizen's expectation, Ling Yun came directly to her. To celebrate stealing Yan Lingwan Bankai, Shojiro Sasaki had black lines all over his face again. You were obviously alive and kicking, please don't open your eyes and talk nonsense. If he continued to communicate with Ling Yun, he was afraid that he would develop high blood pressure sooner or later. Immediately attracted attention, Katetsu Aizen finally couldn't bear it and rushed into the short boundary barrier. After all, the old man also wants to save face. In front of everyone, Ling Yun directly made a move to kill by touching the head. Ling Yun, that's great, fortunately, nothing happened to you. Business blows. Nima, he still understands this etiquette 4.5. But this time, Katetsu Aizen showed his true emotions regardless of his image. Vice Captain Yongyan, relax, I'm fine, aren't I? Sparrow Chojiro was speechless. Chapter 127, The Boy Among the Wolves. Ling Yun. Ling Yun's big hand gently caressed his head. Katetsu Aizen was visibly shy. She lowered her head slightly, and a blush appeared on her left and right cheeks. The shy look unique to the little girl stunned everyone present. The 4th Division team members were the most surprised. Is this the vice captain we know? Even Sparrow Chojiro was also in a daze. Life and death were uncertain a second ago, but now it has become a romantic drama? The picture changed so suddenly. Vice Captain Yongyan, your hair is quite soft. Looking at Katetsu Aizen, the little girl, Ling Yun couldn't help being happy. It seems that I have won the other party's favor with this trick. Ahem. Seeing the atmosphere, it seemed that something was not quite right. The silver-haired old man coughed dryly. 3-seat Ling Yun, since you were safe and sound, let's end this discussion. Katetsu Aizen blushed, and quickly took over the words. Vice Captain Sasaki, follow the arrangements. She wished she could dig a hole and bury herself immediately so as not to be surrounded by other team members. 11 Ultimate. Under the organization of the silver-haired old man, all the onlookers left in an orderly manner and returned to the camp. This competition has finally ended perfectly, soon after. The gate of the camp. Ling Yun, are you going to leave for a while? Katetsu Aizen was full of surprises. Not long ago, Ling Yun found her on purpose and expressed her intention to leave. Katetsu Aizen's first reaction was that he didn't quite agree. Unless there is a special situation, under normal circumstances, the team members or the officers are not allowed to leave the team without authorization. This would violate the law of the Jingling Court. Vice Captain Yongyan, it's rare to come to Rukongai. I plan to take the opportunity to take a stroll. Such a small request, you shouldn't refuse it. Ling Yun had already expected that Katetsu Aizen would not agree, so he played the sympathy card. Katetsu Aizen was silent for a long time. She was going to refuse, but she couldn't say it. It's hard to have a good impression. In case everyone is unhappy because of this matter, this is not what she wants to see. Vice Captain Yongyan, don't worry about it. Seeing that things were turning around, Ling Yun immediately stepped up his efforts, and said with a light smile, Captain Yunohana Retsu, I will explain it to her personally when I go back to Jinglingding. Okay, go back early to avoid accidents. Katetsu Aizen eventually relented. Although it is not clear why Ling Yun insisted on leaving. But out of trust, she didn't ask in detail. Why don't we go together? Treat it as a private date. Before leaving, Ling Yun flirted back and suddenly flirted with the other party. What? Katetsu Aizen was taken aback. Her face turned red in a flash like a ripe apple. Apparently caught up again. Just kidding. Vice Captain Yongyan, I find that you are getting cuter and cuter. Contrary to Katetsu Aizen's expectations, Ling Yun stepped forward suddenly and gently pinched her cheek. Ah! Katetsu Aizen shuddered as if he had received an electric shock. From the neck to the roots of the ears, every inch of the skin was red. The sudden intimacy left her mind blank. Bye-bye. Ling Yun didn't give the other party any chance to react. He waved his hand triumphantly and then left in a free and easy manner. The figure gradually drifted away until finally disappearing. Ling Yun. Was he hinting just now? Katetsu Aizen muttered to himself in a daze. What happened just now made her heart scramble. The relationship between the two, also because of this mission, has had many intimate interactions in a row. Gradually become ambiguous. Time flies. Half a day passed in a blink of an eye. After temporarily leaving the camp, Ling Yun started his original purpose. That's right, that is looking for bald and shemale. After a year, when I revisit my hometown, I naturally want to visit my old friends. The southeast location of the block, a remote location. Looking around, several houses stand side by side. Although the overall decoration looks dilapidated from the outside, compared to other houses, the environment here is pretty good. These houses are surrounded by a huge courtyard, and a lot of vegetation can be seen everywhere, as well as some fields full of rice. This familiar place. It's the land of bald heads and ladyboys. What? It's strange, why can't I feel the slightest breath? Ling Yun stood in front of the gate of the courtyard, trying to perceive with Ryotsu. But after sensing for a long time, there was no breath. There was no one at all. Is it really slipping away? Ling Yun shrugged helplessly. I finally came here, but I didn't expect people to go to the building. It seems that the plan to reminisce about the past is about to fail. After waiting for a while and confirming that no one would come, Ling Yun finally chose to leave. However, not long after he 977 left the courtyard, there was a sound in the bushes beside him. Rustled a subtle sound like the wind broke the tranquility of the surroundings. Someone? Following the source of the sound, Ling Yun looked over. He could vaguely sense that there was an aura hidden in the dense bushes. It was a young man with light purple short hair, light blue slender pupils, squinting and smiling. The originally lost mood suddenly became full of interest. Your whereabouts have been exposed, if I have to describe it. Immediately afterwards, this boy who came out from the pile of wolves carried a hint of mystery. He was wearing plain clothes and held a sharp dagger in his bloodstained left hand. In this barren mountain, it is rare to meet other people. A thin figure slowly walked out of the bushes and appeared within Ling Yun's line of sight. Part fox, part lion majesty. Ling Yun stared at the bushes and said. After half a sound. Come out, there is no way, it seems that there is no way to keep hiding. Behind the young man, there was actually a pile of wild wolves piled up with corpses. That is. A voice came from the bushes, with a somewhat immature Kyoto accent. More eye-catching. Chapter 128. Do you want to be a Shinigami? A boy who walked out of the pack of wolves. As soon as he appeared on the stage, he was different and revealed a sense of mystery. Part fox, part lion majesty. Like poppies, it is unpredictable. The blood-stained arm and the sharp dagger all indicated that he had just experienced a fight. You are. Take a closer look at the boy's appearance. Ling Yun, who has always been calm and breezy, suddenly noticed a drastic change in expression. Not only does he speak in a Kyoto dialect, but even the way he squints and smiles looks exactly like a fox. More importantly, just standing there, the boy exudes a cold temperament like a lurking lion majesty. Ling Yun recognized the other party's identity at a glance. That's right. This poppy-like young man will be the amazing Soul Society in the future, and has been undercover for more than 100 years. The only man who almost killed Aizen Ichimaru Jin. Goddess of luck really favored me. In this place, I met Ichimaru Jin. Ling Yun's eyes couldn't hide the excitement. Compared with other plot characters, Ichimaru Jin is special, needless to say. He is a once-in-a-100-year genius, and it only took him a year to go to the spiritual academy Bia from the real world. After joining Gode 13, kill the 3rd seed of the 5th division immediately to gain Aizen's appreciation. The most important is, his Zanpakutō Shinso, after Bankai, has 500 times the speed of sound, and turns to ash when stretched. As long as it is stabbed by Shinso, some of the blades will become highly poisonous and remain in the body. Once the toxicity kicks in, the cells will break down and anyone will die suddenly. This shows how powerful Shinso is. Are you Shinigami? At the moment Ling Yun was surprised. Ichimaru Jin took the initiative to ask back. Even when facing Shinigami, Ichimaru Jin always squints his eyes and shows his signature fox smile. Despite his young age, he has no stage fright. No wonder there was such an achievement later. Ling Yun sighed silently. Even if Shimale and Bald Head met for the first time, Ichimaru Jin was not as calm as Ichimaru Jin. There is a world of difference in the aura. Gode 4th team, 3rd seed Ling Yun. Ling Yun simply reported his family name. It was rare to meet Ichimaru Jin. Ling Yun didn't want to scare him, so he restrained all his momentum. Gode 4th division? Isn't that the medical division? Ichimaru Jin squinted and smiled. Calm, practice. His words easily reveal a maturity that does not match his age. Ichimaru Jin is full of wolf nature. No one can guess his mind. You know so much? Ling Yun was a little surprised. As far back as I can remember, Ichimaru Jin was born in poverty and spent his days in the poor area of Rukongai. The living conditions there, while not as bad as in Zaraki, are not much better. Unexpectedly, Ichimaru Jin, who was wandering around, knew something about Shinigami. Hey, I've inquired about some news in other neighborhoods before, isn't it a big deal? Ichimaru Jin remained motionless, and from the moment we met, his eyes never moved away. He seemed to be indifferent, but in fact Wei Mi's eyes were filled with a strong look of fear. Observe secretly. From the very beginning, Ichimaru Jin has been watching Ling Yun constantly. For this Shinigami who has never met before, his first reaction was not awe but intense curiosity. Ichimaru Jin even tried to peek out some secrets from Ling Yun. It's unbelievable that this kind of thing happened to a young boy. Interesting, you should be very interested in Shinigami, right? Ling Yun showed a faint smile. He suddenly had an idea. Since you can't find skinheads and ladyboys, something must have happened to Ichimaru Jin. Be his teacher. At present, Ling Yun is also the tutor of Kuchiki nobles in addition to the 3 seats. So Gao Lang's facial paralysis can be regarded as his apprentice. In Ling Yun's impression, Byakuya Kuchiki and Ichimaru Jin were the new captains who took office at the same time. One is of noble birth and one is from Rukongai. If you can become the teacher of these 2 geniuses at the same time. How cool would that be? Well, but in this area, Shinigami are extremely rare, and there were not many intersections before. Ichimaru Jin was holding a bloody dagger while speaking. This highly vigilant move was naturally noticed by Ling Yun. The more contact, the more surprise. Just for such a short moment, Ling Yun left a deep impression. Ichimaru Jin really brings too many surprises. You were hunting wolves just now, weren't you? Ling Yun changed the subject. He could tell at a glance that Ichimaru Jin was visibly more defensive when it came to Shinigami. That's right, these wild wolves are the food I hunt and kill. Ichimaru Jin's palm loosened slightly while speaking. Food? I want to take all these corpses back and deal with them, lest my companions starve to death. Ichimaru Jin kept squinting his eyes. And many more. Ling Yun interrupted suddenly, and asked excitedly, you just said that you still have companions? What's wrong? Ichimaru Jin frowned slightly. Ling Yun asked back suddenly, making him puzzled. Are you not wandering alone? Ling Yun asked seriously. I have a companion, but usually, I'm the only one who goes out hunting. Ichimaru Jin looked at Ling Yun vigilantly, his arm trembling slightly. Once Ling Yun has any intentions, he will take action immediately. Knew it. At this time, Okeijao, Matsumoto Rangaku is also there. Ling Yun's heart was full of surprises. Ichimaru Jin's answer gave him the confidence to confirm the identity of that companion. That's right. The 2 have depended on each other since childhood and wandered in Rukongai together. One day later, because of the persecution of Aizen and his accomplices, the soul was mutilated. Another partner of Ichimaru Jin is Shinigami's famous culprit, Matsumoto Rangaku. After confirming this information, Ling Yun became more determined. In any case, he had to gain the trust of Ichimaru Jin, and only then was he able to get in touch with Matsumoto Rangaku. Of course. Ling Yun was very clear in his heart, facing the cautious Ichimaru Jin. In fact, this matter is not easy to do, but he still wants to try it. So, meeting Ichimaru Jin's gaze, Ling Yun smiled sincerely. Do you want to be a Shinigami? Chapter 129. Hello, my name is Matsumoto Rangaku. Do you want to be a Shinigami? Meeting Ichimaru Jin's gaze, Ling Yun smiled sincerely. Confront the cunning fox. Instead of trying hard, it's better to be direct. This is more likely to gain the trust of the other party. Becoming a Shinigami? Ichimaru Jin was slightly taken aback. He didn't expect that Ling Yun would be so direct and propose an invitation to himself. What's more, what does it mean to have 3 seats in the 4th division? Ichimaru Jin knew it in his heart. Although I have never been to Jinglingting, Ichimaru Jin can still judge Ling Yun's identity through the seat. It cannot be said that they are well-known celebrities, at least there are some famous people. This is his most intuitive judgment. Therefore, in response to Ling Yun's rhetorical question, Ichimaru Jin was rarely silent. He neither agreed nor refused. The atmosphere became subtle like this. If it were someone else, I'm afraid they would have agreed long ago, Ling Yun thought to himself. Ichimaru Jin's reaction made his eyes shine again. He finally understood why this guy in front of him was able to lurk by Aizen's side for hundreds of years. This patience and will have been there since childhood. After a while of silence, Ichimaru Jin looked at Ling Yun, and finally spoke, if I answer, you will be able to guarantee that I can become a Shinigami? Awesome. This question asks something. 717 Ling Yun nodded silently. Ichimaru Jin silently rose to a higher level in his heart. My vision has never been wrong. You have the qualifications and potential to become a Shinigami. Ling Yun replied with a smile. Yes. Ichimaru Jin was silent again. He looked down at the plain robe that was stained red with blood, and then looked at Ling Yun's deadly costume. In the azure-blue pupils, an undetectable otherworld flashed. In fact, in Ichimaru Jin's view, whether he can become a Shinigami is not that important. Shinigami of Jinglingting, commoners of Rukongai. No matter what kind of identity, it has no effect on him. The only thing Ichimaru Jin values is the safety of himself and his companions. For the past few years, he and Matsumoto Rangaku have been at the Rukongai Ryuhyuan on a daily basis. Displaced, hungry and cold. Even if the soul body does not need to eat, it will not die. Day. If you are in a state of hunger for a long time, your whole body will be exhausted, and you may even fall into a deep coma. If Ichimaru Jin hadn't been out hunting, Matsumoto Rangaku would have starved to death early in the morning. It is for the above reasons. Therefore, Ling Yun's BBBH proposal is attractive to Ichimaru Jin. That's why he hesitated. How about this, I will help you first, pile up the corpses of these wolves, and move them back to the place where they live. As for the matter just mentioned, it will not be too late to answer then. Ling Yun made a compromise suggestion. He didn't want to bring too much pressure to the other party, so as not to backfire. Okay. Then do as you said. As predicted, Ichimaru Jin readily agreed. Although he hasn't put down his guard yet, his attitude has softened significantly. Everything is getting better. Ichimaru Jin, you alone have hunted and killed so many wild wolves. It's amazing. Ling Yun praised again when carrying the corpses. Each of these dead wolves was robust, and there were a huge number of them. Even adult Rukongai residents may not be able to subdue them. Courage, boldness, strength. All three are indispensable. It can be seen how good Ichimaru Jin really is. To you Shinigami, these are small things, right? Ichimaru Jin squinted and smiled. The iconic fox smile makes people unable to guess his mind. That's right, but it's not Shinigami's responsibility to hunt wild wolves, and they rarely try it deliberately. Ling Yun answered patiently while carrying the corpse. Then can you show it? Ichimaru Jin asked suddenly. Show what? Shinigami's true strength. Ichimaru Jin's eyes widened slightly. It is rare for him to stop pretending and show his true emotions. No problem at all. Ling Yun smiled, and then looked at the sharp dagger in Ichimaru Jin's hand. Is this dagger easy to use? Good. Ichimaru Jin nodded noncommittally. One is short and the other is slender. The short dagger in his hand is in stark contrast to Ling Yun's Zanpakutō. This is my Zanpakutō, and its name is Yama. Ling Yun took out the Zanpakutō from the girdle and held it gently in his hand. Yanmo. A very special name. Ichimaru Jin's eyes lit up. He just glanced at it, and he could clearly sense the strange fluctuations emanating from Yanmo. Intuition told him, this Zanpakutō must be something special. Looking good. Ling Yun waved Yanmo lightly. Call out. A slash formed by black thunder. Carrying a large number of lightning arcs, it galloped forward. Yan Lingwan's sword technique. Ling Yun copied it perfectly. What a powerful thunder. Ichimaru Jin's purple hair fluttered, and black thunder reflected in Wei Mi's eyes. Yanmo's Ryotsu, thunder's power, all made him feel mortal threat. Finally, with the explosion of the black thunder, this vast bush was razed to the ground in an instant. The power of Yanmo, it is fully reflected at this moment. Is this the power of Zanpakutō? Although Ichimaru Jin deliberately concealed it. But the tone of his speech and the changes in his expression have already revealed his inner thoughts. Obviously he was shocked. Yanmo's thunderstrike brought an indescribably strong visual stimulation. This moment, Ichimaru Jin's mood was particularly complicated. He became more yearning for, Shinigami. Let's go, it's getting late, take the things back to your residence before it gets dark. Ling Yun put away Zanpakutō and immediately changed the subject. Through the slash just now, he has achieved the desired effect. Next, just play by ear and win the trust of Ichimaru Jin. Soon after, under the leadership of Ichimaru Jin, the two passed through one forest after another along the winding mountain road. Finally arrived at the destination. This is a place full of wasteland, even more desolate than before, with no human habitation. At the end of the line of sight of the two, stood a small house. It was a simple wooden house, with a large number of old wooden boards used outside to surround a small courtyard. Just when Ling Yun and the others arrived, a petite figure walked out of the wooden house. That's Matsumoto Rangaku, Chapter 130, the second genius apprentice. She has short blonde hair, a mole on her lip, and is also wearing a plain robe. Ling Yun recognized this petite and thin figure walking out of the wooden house at a glance. That's Matsumoto Rangaku. Met Matsumoto Rangaku though. But Ling Yun was full of black question marks. What about the big culprit? Looking at it at a glance, not to mention the skinny body, it has not even begun to develop. Shinigami's number one evil, now it's an airport? Nima. Finally found the door, just show me this. Ling Yun wanted to cry immediately but had no tears. In Gode 13, there are a large number of female Shinigami, and there are some beautiful women among them. However, there are really not many that can be called murder weapons. That's why, after seeing Ichimaru Jin, Ling Yun's mood fluctuated extraordinarily. A large part of the reason is because of Matsumoto Rangaku. However, Ling Yun silently shook his head. The originally exuberant interest immediately turned into a sunset area. I will cry if I continue. Silver, who is this? Matsumoto Rangaku blinked his eyes and looked at Ling Yun curiously. Now she doesn't look like a royal sister at all, but looks like a simple loli. In every girl's heart, there will be a Prince Charming. Ling Yun's handsome face and outstanding temperament perfectly fit this image against the backdrop of the deadly costume. This moment, Matsumoto Rangaku has an illusion. Ling Yun's whole body exudes shining light, bursting out with impeccable charm. God lol. This damn charm. Little Lolita couldn't help but stare in a daze. Shinigami, his name is Ling Yun, and he is the third member of the Gode Division 4 team. Ichimaru Jin gave a brief introduction. He didn't realize that his little friend was committing a nympho at the moment. Mr. Ling Yun, hi, my name is Matsumoto Rangaku. After staring blankly for a while, Matsumoto Rangaku regained his composure and greeted Ling Yun proactively. She raised her eyebrows and smiled. A lively smile appeared on her dirty face. Hello Rangaku. Ling Yun showed a faint smile. The originally depressed mood immediately became more comfortable because of the other party's smile. To be fair, Matsumoto Rangaku is already a beauty embryo despite his small size. The reason for stunting is entirely due to hunger. As long as you stay away from here and change to a comfortable environment, your physical condition will improve soon. So well, Ling Yun suddenly had an idea, take Matsumoto Rangaku away. That's right, just met once. He made up his mind to take little Loli away. Starting from Lolita, this cultivation plan is wonderful when you think about it. Of course, it is not easy to realize the plan. You have to gain their trust first. Rangaku, these wild wolf carcasses, I hunted and killed in Block 76. Ichimaru Jin unties the sack. A pungent bloody smell wafted out of it immediately. Wow, a lot of wild wolf corpses, this time I finally don't have to starve. Matsumoto Rangaku dances and dances. It can be clearly seen that for a long time before, she was hungry every day. Finally, there is a lot of meat to eat, so the little loli is naturally excited. As this fun, Ling Yun felt sorry for them. Don't starve, have meat to eat. This is a very common thing in Jinglingting, even in the blocks with higher numbers. Even the most ordinary Shinigami, eating and drinking is not a problem. A nobleman like him has been used to eating delicious food since he was a child. Where is the experience of poverty and starvation? Actually, fate is so unfair, especially the Soul Society, which looks like a paradise, but in fact survival is equally cruel. The status is clear and the system is strict. Different births, different identities, and living environments are completely different. Although there are many Shinigami born in Rukongai in the current Gotei 13, they only account for a minority after all. It is not easy to counterattack, this is the cruel reality. By the way, Rangaku, I was there too, and I met Mr. Ling Yun. Ichimaru Jin then added. Really? That's really destined. Matsumoto Rangaku raised his eyebrows and smiled, and looked at Ling Yun adoringly. Actually, this is also the first time for me to meet a real Shinigami. Who? Ask for flowers. Ling Yun was almost amused. What is a living Shinigami? What an exaggeration. Little Rangaku, have you ever thought about visiting the Jingling Court one day? Ling Yun squatted down and smiled gently. What? Seirei Ting, isn't that where nobles and Shinigami live? Matsumoto Rangaku was somewhat flattered. A brat who has problems with food and clothing. How could it be possible to go to Jingling Court? In her opinion, this kind of thing is simply a fantasy. Mr. Ling Yun, stop joking, I just want to fill my stomach. Matsumoto Rangaku smiled happily, showing his childlike side. Although her life is poor, she lives heartlessly. Sometimes living a little simpler is actually a good thing. 0.0. It's actually not impossible. Ling Yun's voice changed, and he raised his eyebrows suggestively. As long as you become a Shinigami, you can stay in Jinglingting. What? We also have hope to become Shinigami. Matsumoto Rangaku couldn't believe it. In her view, Gotei 13's Shinigami. Each one is a big shot out of reach. And become Shinigami. It is simply a luxury. Certainly, as long as you take good care of your body and receive systematic training, you may be able to participate in the autumn enrollment. Ling Yun threw out a bait. Easy to say, but hard to do in practice. Even if we get rid of hunger temporarily, where can we go for training? Matsumoto Rangaku shook his head with a bitter face. This. Ling Yun coughed lightly. What does that mean? Matsumoto Rangaku blindfolded. The two stared at each other with wide eyes. The picture is very funny. Ichimaru Jin, who had been silent all the time, showed his trademark fox smile. Rangaku, you still don't understand, Mr. Ling Yun's meaning is obvious. Silver, can't you? You mean? Matsumoto Rangaku's eyes widened in surprise. Little Rangaku, you guessed it right, I can be your teacher if you want. Ling Yun took the opportunity to reveal his purpose. The second genius apprentice is about to get his job done. Chapter 131. Are you a devil? If you want, I can be your teacher. There is a long enough bedding in front. Ling Yun finally revealed his real purpose. Appreciate teachers and accept apprentices. That's what he came here for. Did I hear you right? Matsumoto Rangaku was in a daze. Although it is not clear what 3 seats means. But in the eyes of little Loli, as long as it is Shinigami, it is awesome. Such a big man actually intends to accept disciples. This pie fell too suddenly. Don't believe it. Noticing Matsumoto Rangaku's reaction, the smile on Ling Yun's face deepened. Little Rangaku, but I'm too skeptical, I don't have any other intentions, it's just to see the eye. But, we almost starved to death a while ago. Matsumoto Rangaku looked at Ling Yun with an expression of disbelief. Ichimaru Jin next to 563, calmed down a lot. From the beginning to the end, he always squinted and smiled, and his emotions did not fluctuate much. Although surprised at Ling Yun's initiative. But recalling the scene where Ling Yun swung a sword, he immediately became a little moved. Anyone in this world, fame, power, status. In order to achieve all this, there must be enough strength. No one will refuse to become stronger. Even Ichimaru Jin is no exception. Mr. Ling Yun, are you really not joking? Ling Yun nodded, shrugging his shoulders, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. I'm a Shinigami. Do I need to deliberately deceive you and do such a cheap thing? It seems to be the same. Matsumoto Rangaku suddenly realized. It looks very cute. How about it? It's getting late now. Don't you plan to invite me in to sit for a while? Ling Yun temporarily changed the subject. In fact, he was already 90% sure about accepting apprentices. The only uncertainty. That's Ichimaru Jin's idea. Even up to now, Ling Yun has observed secretly many times, but still can't see through the other party's mind. He had to sigh with emotion. Ichimaru Jin is indeed different from ordinary people, no wonder he has been undercover for hundreds of years. Oh, I almost forgot, I'm so sorry. Matsumoto Rangaku suddenly woke up. It's been a while since we met, and Ling Yun has been standing at the door. How embarrassing. Mr. Ling Yun, come in and sit for a while, I'll make you a pot of hot tea right now. Matsumoto Rangaku greeted warmly. Come in, then I won't be polite. Ling Yun followed the two into the cabin. Soon after, inside the humble log cabin, the tea is fragrant and steaming. After talking for a while, the two sides quickly became acquainted. Mr. Ling Yun, you are so young, you have such an achievement, it makes me feel ashamed. Matsumoto Rangaku is full of praise. Not long ago, during the conversation, Ling Yun revealed some deeds, and the two little ghosts were amazed. I am used to living a life of ups and downs, and suddenly heard a description of Jinglingting. It's like opening up a new world. How about it, are you interested? Ling Yun picked up the teacup and took a sip of hot tea. Rather than listening to stories here, why not practice with me and go to Jinglingting in person in the future? Ling Yun seized the needle. Another olive branch. This time he was 100% sure. Mr. Ling Yun, can the two of us really do it? Matsumoto Rangaku was a little stiff. Although she was full of anticipation, she was uneasy inside. It is certainly a good thing to be able to worship Ling Yun as a teacher. But in terms of practice, I really don't know anything. Matsumoto Rangaku has no idea. Stop. Don't say Mr. Ling Yun, I'm not much older than you. Ling Yun made a joke. The tense atmosphere immediately eased. That. Matsumoto Rangaku hesitated. Rangaku, what are you still doing? Don't change your words quickly. Ultimately it's up to Ichimaru Jin. His words had the final effect. Matsumoto Rangaku's last sliver of doubt has been completely dispelled. Drinking this cup of hot tea, it will be regarded as paying homage to the teacher. Ling Yun smiled. This time came to North Rukongai. Although they didn't reunite with the bald people, they also had unexpected surprises. Ichimaru Jin, Matsumoto Rangaku. The two are equally important plot characters. Being able to become their teacher is not a waste of time. Teacher Ling Yun. Teacher Ling Yun. After drinking the hot tea, the two immediately changed their minds. One mouthful of the teacher's honorific name, Ling Yun felt a little flustered. That's it. Silver, Rangaku, to become a Shinigami, the most crucial factor is Reiatsu. Ling Yun raised his voice, quickly got into the mood, and started the first class. Reiatsu. Ichimaru Jin is fine. Matsumoto Rangaku is really confused. All along, she seldom goes out and picks some wild fruits at most. There is no combat experience at all. As for what Reiatsu is. In Matsumoto Rangaku's mind, there is no concept at all. It's completely a vegetable chicken. Well, let me demonstrate it once, and you will understand immediately. Ling Yun came up with a way. He snapped his fingers casually, and the black Reiatsu in his body spread along one of the fingers with a slight amplitude. Wang humming. Spirit particles diffuse and space fluctuates. It can be clearly seen that the dazzling black luster illuminates the entire wooden house. So this is Reiatsu. Ichimaru Jin finally showed an expression change. He opened his eyes wide open, revealing azure blue pupils filled with excitement. Just that moment, Ichimaru Jin clearly felt breathless. This is oppression given by Reiatsu. Amazing. I don't know when, I will also have this power. Matsumoto Rangaku is full of longing. Ling Yun's demonstration this time, like a 3.9 hit with chicken blood, gave her great confidence. Teacher Ling Yun, what is the specific practice plan? Ichimaru Jin asked curiously. 3. Are you a devil? The two little devils were dumbfounded. Teacher Ling Yun. Hey, she can't wait to start practicing. 500 sit-ups a day. As soon as Ling Yun finished speaking. Asked to the point. Oh, no, it was the little lowly, who became full of energy in an instant. Run 50 kilometers every day. Ling Yun cleared his throat and said the training plan. 500 squats a day. He had suffered from facial paralysis before. The corners of Ling Yun's mouth raised slightly, revealing a sly smile. Your physique is too poor, so you must first strengthen your body. This time is no exception. Chapter 132 Little Lolita cries. 500 squats a day. 500 sit-ups a day. Run 50 kilometers every day. Listen, is this still a human language? Please be human. Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku were dumbfounded when they heard this. Teacher Ling Yun, are you really not a devil? Not enough. Then increase the amount of training. Ling Yun really deserves to be in acting school. He completely ignored the other party's reaction, and even whistled leisurely. Want to be lazy? Ha ha. Is it still his style not to torture you to death? Mr. Ling Yun, this is too strict. Matsumoto Rangaku had a sore nose, and complained with a sad face, even an adult may not be able to do it, let alone the two of us. This is the so-called extreme joy begets sorrow. Just this exaggerated amount of training. Farewell, little Rangaku, you gave up before you even started. Ling Yun shook his head in disappointment, and taunted mercilessly, if you want to be a Shinigami just like that, I think you are suitable, picking wild fruits for a lifetime. 11. Matsumoto Rangaku was speechless. Faced with Ling Yun's face-to-face reprimand, she couldn't find a reason to refute. Little Lolita was about to cry. Silver, what about you? Ling Yun looked at Ichimaru Jin, maybe you plan to give up too. Hey, teacher Ling Yun, I never said that. Ichimaru Jin, as usual, speaks with a unique Kyoto accent. His reaction to the devil's training was the exact opposite of Matsumoto Rangaku's. Instead of complaining, there was some expectation. This is unexpected. Interesting. With a faint smile on the corner of Ling Yun's mouth, he said, Silver, it seems that this amount of training is not your limit. Teacher Ling Yun, how about this? Rangaku's training volume is halved, and that part is counted on my head. What do you think of this proposal? Ichimaru Jin finished speaking. Show the iconic fox smile again. The ease in the speech seems to be trained by the devil, and it really doesn't matter. Silver, don't you die. Matsumoto Rangaku quickly objected, this kind of training is obviously beyond the range that ordinary people can bear. Tisk tut. Rangaku, you don't have much confidence in me, do you? Ichimaru Jin's eyes formed two crescent moons. The light purple short hair all over the head, under the blowing of the cold wind, looked a little messy. But from beginning to end, he seemed extremely confident. This calmness is truly invaluable. But, Matsumoto Rangaku was going to say something else. But was interrupted directly by Ling Yun. Okay, since Yin agrees, let's make a decision like this, and start training later. Ling Yun does not give any chance to repent. In addition to bad taste, he was more out of consideration for the two of them. Due to prolonged hunger, there is indeed a big problem with the physique of the two little ghosts. Only devil training can improve their physique in a short period of time. In addition, Ling Yun has another concern, that is the issue of time. Normally, the Shinigami of Gote 13 cannot leave the team easily unless they need to perform tasks. The longest period is generally only half a month. Once this time is exceeded, even if the task is performed perfectly, it will be considered as a violation of the law of Jingling Court. At least they were interrogated, and at worst they were imprisoned. If it is targeted by the 46 room. Oh shit. Then finish the calf directly. Those pedantic and stubborn old men have no human touch at all. The final result will be a felony. Except for the rush before, Ling Yun has less than half the time left. Time is limited. It is impossible to carry out systematic teaching in such a short period of time. Therefore, only devil training can be carried out. Soon after, the cabins are not far from the outskirts. Devil training begins. Call. The panting sound continued. Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku ran around this mountain, sweating profusely. As for Ling Yun, he leisurely followed behind, like a farmer chasing piglets. Too slow. Run faster, slow like snails. At such a slow speed, it is estimated that the sun will go down, and neither of you can finish the run. If he had a whip in his hand, Ling Yun would really pull it out. I'm really chasing pigs. Teacher Ling Yun, I really can't do it. After gritting his teeth for a long time, Matsumoto Rangaku finally chose to give up. Let alone 25 kilometers. Even 10 kilometers, she can't stand it. If it continues, the bones will fall apart. With a straw in his mouth, Ling Yun teased with a light smile, little Rangaku, you really are not suitable for cultivation. Matsumoto Rangaku glanced anxiously. Wow, cried out. The aggrieved look looks very pitiful. Woo. Teacher Ling Yun, I'd rather go hungry than continue training. Matsumoto Rangaku cried into tears. What Shinigami, what jinglingting. It's okay if I was wrong. Rangaku, you are such a cutie. Ling Yun was amused. Although there is no big culprit, Matsumoto Rangaku was the most innocent and cute when he was a child. Simple 810 is kind and unaffected. Especially the aggrieved look, it is even more unbearable, wanting to care for her with heart. Woo. It was beyond Ling Yun's expectations. Matsumoto Rangaku got up suddenly and threw himself into his arms, crying loudly. Tears kept pouring out of my eyes as if I didn't need money. Ling Yun's deadly domineering outfit was instantly wet. Fool, this is just a small setback that you have to go through in the process of cultivation. As long as you grit your teeth, you will be able to get through it. Ling Yun reached out and touched his little head. Try and see soon. This move completely surprised the opponent. Just at this very moment, while stroking Rangaku's hair, he comforted him with words. Matsumoto Rangaku closed his eyes in doubt. That's right. But, I can't move anymore. Ling Yun uses divine healing. Who said, close your eyes and you will recover soon? Ling Yun smiled. The original fatigue disappeared immediately after being illuminated by the holy light. A large amount of radiance covered her body. Instantly restores Matsumoto Rangaku to full capacity. Matsumoto Rangaku gets energized in no time. Matsumoto Rangaku choked, feeling very unwilling. The scene suddenly became very warm. Really? Teacher Ling Yun, you must be teasing me, right? Chapter 133 Growing Trust. Amazing. I don't even feel tired at all. Little Lolita was both surprised and puzzled. She stood up suddenly and kept looking at herself, trying to figure out the reason. No matter how you look at it, can't see any clues. It seemed that the fatigue just now was just a real dream. How about it, are you still planning to give up now? Looking at Matsumoto Rangaku, Ling Yun felt a sense of accomplishment. The reason why he thought of devil training. In addition to allowing the two of them to break through their limits, a large part of the reason is because of the divine healing technique. As long as there is divine healing, any injury can be healed instantly. Because no matter how high the training intensity is, as long as Ling Yun is by his side, even if the training volume is doubled, it will not be a problem at all. In fact, to put it bluntly, Ling Yun is a cheater. Even if the time is short, with the divine healing technique, everything is not a problem. Ling Yun is fully confident that Matsumoto Rangaku and Ichimaru Jin will definitely be able to break through the original limit. Teacher Ling Yun, are those rays of light that appeared just now also Shinigami's abilities? After observing secretly for a long time, Ichimaru Jin couldn't help asking. Kaido, you probably haven't heard of it. Ling Yun asked back. Ichimaru Jin shook his head. For Shinigami, the most impressive is Zanpakutō. As for other abilities, I don't know anything about it. Hado, Bakudo, Kaido. They all belong to a type of Kido, one of the most common abilities of Shinigami. The one I used just now is Kaido. Ling Yun explained it briefly. As for other small details, he didn't say much. It's still too early to get in touch. The most urgent thing is the most basic training. Shinigami's Kaido, is it really that powerful? Ichimaru Jin expressed doubts. From here alone, we can see the difference between him and Matsumoto Rangaku. One can only marvel, the other is thinking. Ichimaru Jin saw some clues with his intuition, but he was skeptical about it. If you don't believe it, you can go to Jingling Saliva to authenticate yourself, wouldn't it be fine? Ling Ku chuckled disapprovingly. No matter how delicate Ichimaru Jin's mind was, he didn't have any malice after all. So there is no need to explain too much. I understand. One day in the future, I will be like you, teacher, talking and laughing to resolve Rangaku's distress. Ichimaru Jin nodded, did not continue to struggle, and his eyes were mild. The decisive words revealed absolute confidence. Although Ichimaru Jin is still young, he has shown wisdom that does not match his age, and even exceeds that of adults. His performance surprised Ling Yun many times. The latter made the latter silently rejoice that he had an unexpected encounter with Ichimaru Jin in Block 76. Without any exaggeration. Compared with Byakuya Kuchiki, who is cold and cold, Ichimaru Jin, who is low-key and calm, has more potential and room for growth. That is because, over the years, time and time again, he fought with wild beasts and with other refugees. The decisive killing accumulated over a long period of time. This is what sharpens the character of Ichimaru Jin. Okay, let's continue training, let me emphasize a little bit. When you don't reach the limit, don't expect me to use Kaido. Don't even think about being lazy. You must train step by step. Ling Yun raised his voice and gave a stern order, like a strict mentor. Teacher Ling Yun is really strict. Matsumoto Rangaku muttered under his breath. She is not like Ichimaru Jin, who has always been able to bear hardships and stand hard work, but she is like a vase. If it weren't for divine healing, Dairy Cow Girl doesn't do anything. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, most of the day passed. As dusk approached, the sun set and the sky was covered with red clouds. No, I'm getting tired. In Matsumoto Rangaku's voice, there was an obvious crying tone, and even more aggrieved tone. The devil training that lasted for a day almost made her whole body buy a ticket. In order to complete all the training volume, she performed a full 11 treatments. That's right. The 11 cures of the divine healing technique ensured the completion of the training mission. When it came to the last treatment, even Ling Yun could hardly bear it and rolled his eyes in front of him. Nima, do you need such a weak chicken? Ichimaru Jin did not heal once, but he still completed the training task. It is also a small partner. Why is there such a big gap between people? If it weren't for the good development of the number one culprit. No, for the sake of Rangaku's health, Ling Yun will definitely refuse in person. Teacher Ling Yun, how long will this kind of training last? Ichimaru Jin came to the front. Except for a little sweat, he looked in good condition. The terrifying devil training did not bring him any trouble. During the training process, Ichimaru Jin spent more time with an attitude of holding and enjoying. This heart and perseverance. Even Ling Yun was amazed. 10 days. After about 10 days, I will teach you the basic chopping technique. Ling Yun gave an affirmative answer. Due to the limited time, there is really not much he can teach. Ling Yun is also very helpless about this. A genius like Ichimaru Jin will be nurtured by any teacher. Every time he thought of this matter, Ling Yun could only shake his head helplessly. I understand. Ichimaru Jin nodded. Although Ling Yun didn't say it clearly, but he, Qian Wanghao, could see that the time to get along would not be very long. Okay, it's getting dark, go back to the cabin and rest. Ling Yun looked up at the sky. The first day of special training ended perfectly. He was also very happy. Teacher Ling Yun, I picked some wild vegetables a few days ago. In addition to the wild wolf meat brought back by Yin, I will cook a sumptuous dinner tonight, and let you taste my cooking skills. Matsumoto Rangaku smiled. She had been wronged all day, and it was finally over, so she could only vent her feelings by eating meat. Okay, little Rangaku, don't let me down. Ling Yun showed a faint smile. He could clearly feel that the feeling of unfamiliarity before had become almost gone after a day of training. Perhaps after more than 10 days, he will be able to win the trust of the two of them. Chapter 134 Shihouin Token. Night fell. The sky in the suburbs is full of bright stars. Because of Ling Yun's arrival, the humble cabin was filled with a lively atmosphere. On the small wooden table in the center of the room, there are delicious dishes, which constantly exude a fragrant smell. Braised wild wolf meat in soy sauce, stewed wild vegetables with peppercorns. Matsumoto Rangaku showed his culinary skills and cooked these two dishes himself. Not only is it full of aroma, but it also looks great and looks full of appetite. Start. The three of them picked up their chopsticks and tasted them unceremoniously. Rangaku, I really didn't expect that although you can't train, you are good at cooking. Ling Yun picked up a piece of wild wolf meat and tasted it happily. The meat is plump and the thorns are sweaty. One bite, not to mention the texture, but also very tasty. Simply delicious. Mr. Ling Yun, my cooking skills are not bad. Matsumoto Rangaku laughed. At this age, she is not as bold as Yuji Fan in the original plot. Matsumoto Rangaku's heart is still very simple. Any compliment from Ling Yun would make her happy for a long time. What a cutie. It's great. Why don't you think about it and become the chef of the fourth team? I think you have this talent. Ling Yun joked. Giggle. Matsumoto Rangaku laughed tremblingly. Mr. Ling Yun joked, my culinary skills will only make people laugh. That's not sure. Maybe it's very popular. Ling Yun smiled. By the way, teacher Ling Yun, shouldn't you stay for a long time? After eating a piece of wild wolf meat, Ichimaru Jin suddenly asked. Probably less than half a month. Ling Yun put down the chopsticks in his hand. Huh, so fast. Matsumoto Rangaku exclaimed. She suddenly felt that the meat in her mouth was no longer fragrant. We just met and are leaving. This is too fast. Even Shinigami teammates, you can't leave the team without authorization. There is usually a deadline, so. Ling Yun said briefly. Oh, but it's less than half a month. No matter how high the training intensity is, the effect will be limited after all. When I think of Ling Yun leaving, I will go back to the previous wandering life. Matsumoto Rangaku fell silent for a moment. She was suddenly very reluctant. Well, I have actually thought about this problem, and I have thought of two solutions. As soon as Ling Yun finished speaking, their eyes lit up. What way? Even Ichimaru Jin couldn't help asking. Either leave with me and live in Jingling. Or stay here and wait until the strength is strong enough to go to Jingling. Ling Yun gave two options. The first option is what he himself hopes most. Take the two little ghosts away directly, solve the problem once and for all, and save future troubles. As for the second option, that was also a helpless move. Once the half-month time limit is up, then he has to leave, and wants to come back here again, and he has to wait until the year of the monkey. But to deal with this situation, Ling Yun also thought of a way. The premise is to look at their choices. Teacher Ling Yun. Although I really want to leave with you, but in terms of strength and status, the two of us are far from qualified. Ichimaru Jin sighed regretfully. Being stimulated one after another made his curiosity stronger. Become a Shinigami. It seemed to be a voice that kept calling in his heart. Silver is right. Going to Jinglingting now is indeed too much of a stretch. Matsumoto Rangaku felt disappointed. It's not that I don't want to leave, but that I have a compulsion in my heart. Even with Ling Yun's thigh, if you want to gain a firm foothold in Jinglingting, you must first have the strength to become a Shinigami. They are still far behind. It's okay, I can understand you too. Ling Yun smiled at the two, and then took out BBAI 2 tokens from his arms. This is. The two little ghosts widened their eyes curiously. The exquisite workmanship of the tokens, which have been patterned on them, makes them feel particularly original. You guys keep these 2 tokens separately, and take them to the Jingling court in the future, they will definitely help you. Ling Yun reminded deliberately. Token of Shihouin. This is a gift from Ling Yun. Under normal circumstances, only Shihouin clansmen are eligible to own tokens. In Jinglingting, or the block with the first serial number. This special token can help a lot. Teacher Ling Yun. We accepted your kindness, and it is our luck to meet you. Ichimaru Jin and Matsumoto Rangaku, sincere thanks. Because of this incident, their favorability towards Ling Yun soared again. Unknowingly, the seeds of trust have sprouted, and the distance between them is getting closer. Everything is moving in the expected direction. Time is like a fleeting moment. 10 days passed in a blink of an eye. No matter how much reluctance there is, it is finally time to separate. Ling Yun had to leave. At this time, in the courtyard outside the cabin. Call. Ichimaru Jin held a short dagger in his hand, and under his light purple bangs, there was a layer of fine beads of sweat. Under the guidance of Ling Yun, he practiced kendo. Ichimaru Jin belongs to the kind of person who doesn't have any malice in his heart, but doesn't express his feelings directly. All of them play nicely. It's time to separate. The posture of swinging the sword and the strength of the moves. Ling Yun is very sure of one thing, that is to know the picture of gratitude. To be reasonable, even Byakuya Kuchiki, who is the same age, is still hanged and beaten in kendo. It's a pity that there is no if. Silver, I won't say too many polite words. I'm leaving at about the same time. Ling Yun glanced at the sky. Although the encounter was brief, Ling Yun is not worried. Ichimaru Jin's talent is indeed terrifying. Teacher Ling Yun, thanks to your teaching, otherwise the practice would not be smooth. Ichimaru Jin squinted and smiled. He felt this quality in Ichimaru Jin. In less than a week, he quickly got started. After getting along for half a month, Ling Yun also understood his character. Silver, you are improving day by day, you are really a swordsman genius. Ling Yun did not hesitate to praise himself. To be honest, he was quite reluctant to leave. He believes that there will be a day when we will meet again. Although he is new to kendo, Ichimaru Jin has shown a talent that even Ling Yun is amazed at. Chapter 135 The King of the Valley hits the boat Kiryu. Jingling Court. The team building of the fourth team, the captain's team affairs room. Yongyan, is there any news from Ling Yun? Unohana Retsu sat cross-legged in front of the wooden table, as always, practicing the tea ceremony. However, her movements were a little slow, and she seemed a little absent-minded. You know, the most taboo thing in the tea ceremony is disturbing the mind. It is conceivable how ups and downs Sister Hua's state of mind is at this moment. The reason is simple. That's because of Ling Yun. At present, Ling Yun's whereabouts are unknown, and there is no news at all. Seeing that the deadline is about to expire, if you can't return to Jingling Court before dark, then what awaits him will be a judgment. This is not the result that Sister Hua wants. She didn't want anything to happen to Ling Yun, and she didn't want extra problems. However, in addition to waiting, there's not much she can do. That's why she became anxious. Captain Unohana Retsu, I checked the dormitory area this morning, but I still didn't find Ling Yun. Kotetsu Aizen sighed. She was even more anxious than Sister Hua. It was because of Kotetsu Aizen's acquiescence that Ling Yun was able to go to Rukongai. If something really happened to Ling Yun, she would at least bear half of the blame. What? Sister Hua, who has always been calm, sighed helplessly. Ling Yun is the only junior she has seen rightly in the past 1,000 years. Unknowingly, she has a special feeling for Ling Yun. In addition to being a teacher by example, he also devoted himself to favoritism and love. If something really happened to Ling Yun, Sister Hua will be silent for a long time. Captain Unohana Retsu, it's all my problem, I shouldn't have let him go. Kotetsu Aizen was depressed and kept blaming himself. Yongyan, don't blame yourself, let nature take its course. I'm sure he will come back. Although there was a smile on Sister Hua's face, she didn't have the usual expression. The smile that lost its soul seemed a bit eclipsed. The atmosphere is dull. Time passed by every minute and every second. Seeing that it will soon be dark, the last time limit is coming to an end. At the end, Sister Hua finally couldn't bear it any longer, stood up from the wooden case, and paced back and forth in the room. Anxious, restless, her mood swings wildly. Even Kotetsu Aizen can't stand it anymore. Just then, Captain Unohana Retsu, Vice Captain Iruma. Sorry, be late. A familiar voice broke the tranquil atmosphere. This is. Hear the voice. Sister Hua and Kotetsu Aizen were shocked suddenly. The gazes of the two, coincidentally, stayed at the door. The expected figure came into view. That's right. Before it got dark, Ling Yun finally appeared. With an impeccable face, dressed in a black deadly costume, with a slender Zanpakutō on his girdle. Ling Yun is as handsome as ever. Call. Ling Yun, you are finally back. Sister Hua's first reaction was to breathe a sigh of relief. The hanging heart finally fell down. As for Kotetsu Aizen, even broke out in a cold sweat, the mood became excited. The reactions of both of them showed one thing. In their minds, Ling Yun's uniqueness has far surpassed others. I'm sorry, I encountered some things on Rukongai's side, so I wasted a little time and caused unnecessary worries for the two of you. In fact, Ling Yun was a little moved. Unohana Retsu is also good, and Kotetsu Aizen is also good. It was unexpected that Kushi could think so much of himself. Of course, Ling Yun did not elaborate on the matter of Ichimaru Jin and Rangaku. Has left Shihouin tokens, and taught the method of special training, as well as some basic introductory moves. What should be done has been done. How the future fate develops depends entirely on their own good fortune. Ling Yun, just come back, other things are not important. Sister Hua smiled gracefully again. She looked at Ling Yun with obvious tenderness and kindness. If there are outsiders present, they can't help but be amazed. I'm afraid it's not. Want to steal the rhythm of your heart. Ling Yun, are you okay? Inquiry of Kotetsu Aizen's care. Ask for flowers. I'm fine, everything is fine, I just went to relax. Ling Yun grinned. Okay, it's getting late, go back and rest early. Starting tomorrow, continue to practice the sword. Unohana Retsu nodded with a smile. Everything is back to normal, this is what she is looking forward to. The next day, Guti 12th Division Team Building. Captain's office. Great. Let me just say, why did Ling Yun disappear suddenly? He must have taken the opportunity to go to Rukongai to be lazy. Early in the morning, Hiyori's voice almost overturned the whole room. As usual, she still acted arrogantly like a little sister. Point 0. Usually in the 12th squad, no one dares to provoke this little bully. Hiyori, be quiet, don't disturb other people's morning training. A soft voice came from the front. Captain, I'm also feeling sorry for you, don't forget that I used to be Ling Yun's teacher. Hiyori pouted. Aren't you going to see him? The appearance of the owner of this voice is particularly eye-catching. He has long purple curly hair, a spatula-like hair accessory, Uzumaki lines on his cheeks, and black lip gloss. Hot body, full of charm. That's right, the beauty before the wood case is the current captain of the 12th Division and one of the members of the Zero Division. A Shinigami who bears the title of King of the Valley. Hakafuna Kiryu. In the plot of the original book, because the promotion to the Zero team was too early, there are not many descriptions of Kiryu Hakafuna. But at this time, there is still some time before her promotion. Haikashu Kiryu is in the Jingling court, and his status is similar to that of Sister Hua, both of whom are highly respected and loved by others. She has a cheerful and friendly personality, and she always has a kind smile on her face. Even Hiyori, when alone with Hakafuna Kiryu, behaved like a cat. The two are more of a mother-daughter relationship. Team leader, why do I feel that you are interested in Ling Yun? Hiyori frowned. Based on her understanding of Hakafuna Kiryu, this matter is likely to happen. Chapter 136 Someone's jealous. Team leader, why do I feel that you are interested in Ling Yun? Hiyori frowned. Based on her understanding of Hakafuna Kiryu, this matter is likely to happen. Ling Yun is definitely being targeted. Hakafuna Kiryu smiled, showing an unfathomable expression, and said, Hiyori, if there is, so what do you seem to be worried about? Where, there is. Hiyori spoke intermittently. Obviously guilty. In fact, she was still a little nervous. On appearance, on figure, on charm, on status. No matter which aspect, the normal Hakafuna Kiryu beat himself up in all aspects. Such a perfect woman is still her captain. This is the biggest problem. Just in case. Haikashuki Kiryu's heart moved. 853. Don't you have an extra love rival? Just thinking about it, Hiyori felt that there was a big problem. Hiyori, what are you thinking? Why do I feel that your eyes are not right? On that day, Shili came back to his senses and found that the captain Hakafuna Kiryu had come in front of him. There was a trace of cunning that was hard to detect in the kind smile. Forehead. It's nothing, I just lost my mind suddenly. Hiyori explained in a panic. Yes. Hakafuna Kiryu smiled slyly. Hiyori, are you worried that I will take your Ling Yun away? Puff. Hiyori almost choked on his saliva. She dodged her gaze and didn't dare to look at him head on, looking guilty. It was obviously hit by Hakafuna Kiryu. Team leader. Hiyori was pitiful, and suddenly acted like a baby and acted cute. Okay, I'm just joking. Hakafuna Kiryu smiled in relief. But, she paused for a moment, deliberately lowered her voice, and said, I'm also very curious about that Ling Yun, why don't you invite him to Team 12? Invite Ling Yun as a guest. Hiyori had a weird expression on his face. Such a thing has never happened before. Because she herself is extremely xenophobic. Therefore, without Hiyori's permission, it is absolutely impossible for Shinigami members of other teams to step into the 12th team. Now suddenly say so. Isn't that a double standard? Hiyori thought about it, but still didn't feel very good. Don't you want to? That's fine, I want to see how good he is. Haikashu Kiryu smiled lightly. Hiyori's thoughts can't be hidden from her eyes. Hakafuna Kiryu looks like an old mother. Don't. If the captain comes forward, I think this matter is still feasible. Hiyori's voice, at the end, only she could hear clearly. Obviously, she was looking forward to it, but also felt embarrassed, and even a little apprehensive. Then let's decide. Hakafuna Kiryu slapped his forehead and made a decisive decision. I'll send someone to the 4th Division immediately to discuss with Captain Unohana. If there are no accidents, we will see Ling Yun soon. After saying these words, Hakafuna Kiryu's eyes flickered. In fact, besides meeting the previous one, she had another purpose. This is related to the future of the 12th Division. Soon after, the team building of the 4th team, the captain's team affairs room. No, Captain Hikafuna from Division 12 wants to see me. The first time she heard the news, the teacup in Ling Yun's hand almost fell to the ground. Hikafuna Kiryu, even if the other party doesn't invite, Ling Yun still hopes to meet her. The legendary Zero team, known as the strength of 5 people, can be comparable to Gote 13. Although this statement, according to the plot in the original book, seems to be bragging. However, Ling Yun still recognizes the special nature of Team Zero. As one of them, Hikafuna Kiryu is naturally not easy. Because she developed the technology to put the temporary soul into the body, she laid the foundation for the development of Yihan Pill. That's why he was promoted to Team Zero. Most importantly, according to Ling Yun's calculations, at this point in time, this technology is likely to have been born. That is, Hikafuna Kiryu's promotion is already a certainty. If you can get in touch with her, maybe you can spy some secrets from her. Hence the invitation to Hikafuna Kiryu. Ling Yun agreed without hesitation, this is a rare opportunity. Ling Yun, don't worry, Captain Hikafuna is very talkative, she probably just wants to get to know you. Unohana Retsu approved with a smile. Well, I'll be back soon. Ling Yun happily left the team office. He set off towards the second team with anticipation. Soon after, the gate of the 12th Division team building. Brush. Ling Yun just arrived here. A red flip-flop flew towards his forehead. I haven't seen you for such a long time, but I still like this kind of bad taste. Ling Yun smiled disapprovingly. Throw away your slippers when you meet. This is already Hiyori's signature move. Ling Yun has long been familiar with it. It was possible to be recruited before, but now. Bomb. Ling Yun raised his finger and flicked it. Arayatsu was angry, and immediately flicked off the flip-flops. Hey, I haven't seen you for a while, your control over Reiatsu is getting more and more refined. At this time, a petite figure sprang out from the corner of the gate. With a pockmarked face, Hiyori folded her hands in front of her face, and greeted Ling Yun arrogantly. Although we haven't seen each other in 2.6 for a while, she is still the same, like a little sister, as if she will fight if she disagrees. Look at Ling Yun's heart is a little hairy. Hiyori, are you here to greet me? Ling Yun said with a smile. HMPH, don't be so complacent, the team building is so big, I'm just afraid that you will get lost. Hiyori pretended to be cold. You, Ling Yun was a little dumbfounded. Some people, obviously not good at acting, still insist on refusing to welcome. True brother behavior. Where's Captain Hikafuna Kiryu? Ling Yun looked around and asked curiously. Tisk tisk tisk. Ling Yun, you seem to be very impatient, you really covet the captain's beauty. Hiyori snorted coldly. Anyone can clearly see that Hiyori is actually jealous. Chapter 137 Are you interested in being the captain? Beautiful. Ling Yun smashed his tongue. How could he remember that Hikafuna Kiryu in his impression seemed to be an image of an ant? Chubby face, fat and bloated figure, the appetite of a big eater. Hikafuna Kiryu under normal conditions. It seems that it is completely out of line with beauty, right? Why, with your expression, are you questioning what I said? Hiyori snorted angrily. Looking at the angry posture, it was obvious that there was a disagreement, and he continued to pick up the slippers. Hiyori, I haven't taken care of you, so you are getting bigger and bigger, right? Ling Yun said nothing, simply abandoned the chant to cast Bakudo. 61 of Bakudo, 6-stick light prison. After reaching the full level, the 6-stick light prison directly showed the heaven-defying effect. More than a dozen translucent light sheets appeared around the body out of thin air, blocking all actions of Hiyori. The little girl froze instantly. The original arrogance also disappeared without a trace. She was clearly arranged by Ling Yun. Let go of me. If you have the guts, let me go. Hiyori struggled desperately. But the more you struggle, the tighter the bondage becomes. In the end, she couldn't move her whole body, and she didn't even have the strength to continue. Reflect on me. Ling Yun snapped his fingers casually. A thin strip of Reiatsu light directly sealed the opponent's mouth. Forced silence. Even the right to speak was deprived. Hiyori could only stare at Ling Yun with resentful eyes. Of course, there was such a big commotion. Naturally, it attracted the attention of other team members. My god, is it true or not? Look quickly, Vice Captain Hiyori has been tied up. The third seat of Ling Yun is too tough. You're not afraid of death, that's too pretty. The next moment, Ling Yun clearly felt that there were countless adoring eyes coming from all directions. The soldiers of the 12th Division were all stunned, and they were all shocked by the scene in front of them. Able to abuse Hiyori. This is the voice of the team members, and Ling Yun finally realized it for them. One word. Cool. These guys. Perhaps he was tortured to death by flip-flops. Ling Yun almost couldn't help laughing out loud. The performance of the members of the 12th squad immediately made him feel a lot of sympathy. There is such a little girl on the stand. Unlucky enough indeed. Soon after, Ling Yun came to the team office. He. Your brother Ling Yun, I didn't expect that you are several times more handsome than the rumors. The moment Ling Yun walked into the room, Hikifuna Kiryu's voice came from the front. For this kind of praise, Ling Yun has long been used to it. As a friend of women, killing young and old is just a routine operation. But, in the next moment, when Hikifuna Kiryu appeared, Ling Yun was dumbfounded. What about good looks? What about the big wave? What about the scent? Nima, how did you become a big mom? This is showing me a big transformation, isn't it? Ling Yun's heart twitched violently. Hikifuna Kiryu in front of him is no longer in his usual state, but has become a big fat woman. Bloated figure, fat round face, sloppy temperament. No matter how you look at it, they have nothing to do with the word, beauty. Scared Ling Yun trembling. I met Captain Hikifuna Kiryu. Fortunately, he knew the basics a long time ago. Ling Yun quickly adjusted his mentality and greeted him politely. Brother Ling Yun, Hiyori is not very polite, so don't be as knowledgeable as her. Come, let's eat something first. I have prepared some things in advance. Hikifuna Kiryu showed extraordinary enthusiasm. Sure enough, it's as enthusiastic as the original book. It would be great if I lost weight. Facing the excessive enthusiasm of a fat ant, Ling Yun actually couldn't bear it. It's not that he doesn't appreciate it. The problem is that our ability to resist pressure is not enough. If it is really seen, who can stand it? But then again, Hikifuna Kiryu's current state, chubby, looks quite cute. But Ling Yun still misses the big murderer. I beg you. Transform back into a wavy beauty. Brother Ling Yun, do you know why I want to meet you on purpose? Hikifuna Kiryu picked up a piece of sushi from the wooden table and stuffed it into his mouth neatly. Blah blah. After chewing happily for a while, his already obese body immediately swelled significantly. Now I'm really fat as a ball. Aren't you going to have a taste? My craftsmanship is very good. Hikifuna Kiryu didn't care about his image at all, and picked up another piece after eating. Senior, you didn't call me to watch the show, did you? Ling Yun's face was full of black lines. Anyway, pay attention to eating. What's the matter with this gobble? Tisk tisk tisk, aren't you curious why I insist on asking you to taste it? Hikishu Kiryu smiled honestly. Captain Hikifuna Kiryu, if you guessed right, every piece of food here contains reiatsu, right? Ling Yun told the truth he knew. At the same time, 817 felt turmoil in his heart. All the dishes contain the essence of the soul, which also shows that the technology of temporary soul has been born. Therefore, Ling Yun infers that Hikifuna Kiryu is very likely to have had contact with Team Zero. He, I don't quite understand what you mean. Ling Yun frowned. Hikifuna Kiryu smiled cheerfully. Ling Yun showed a faint smile. So how does it feel now? Are you interested in being the captain of Team 12? Ling Yun realized in an instant that Hikifuna Kiryu seemed to have something to say. Worth entrusting. Brother Ling Yun. Hikifuna Kiryu revealed his true thoughts. And many more. It's not bad, it's quite reliable, and it's a person worthy of entrustment. Of course, besides Hiyori, Captain Unohana is also included. You are really different, it seems that my vision is still so vicious. Then I'll just say it straight. In fact, I've heard comments about you from Hiyori. As predicted, Hikifuna Kiryu's expression changed, and suddenly became serious. Hikifuna Kiryu's next words startled Ling Yun. They all spoke highly of you, and they all spoke highly of you. This really surprised me, so I came up with the idea of meeting you. Chapter 138 accidentally became a talent agency. Brother Ling Yun. Are you interested in becoming the captain of Division 12? Hikifuna Kiryu asked suddenly. It directly shocked Ling Yun. Captain Skyfall. This kind of good thing came too suddenly. Brother Ling Yun. Hikifuna Kiryu showed a simple and honest smile. Captain Hikifuna Kiryu, are you sure you're not joking? Ling Yun came back to his senses. Hikifuna Kiryu's proposal, although very tempting, is not realistic if you think about it carefully. There are generally 3 ways for Shinigami soldiers or officers to be promoted to captain. The first method is to successfully pass the captain's assessment under the witness of a total of 3 captains, including the chief captain. The second method is to be jointly recommended by 6 captains and approved by more than 3 other captains. The third method is to have a fair duel with the current captain under the witness of more than 200 team members, and defeat the opponent in public. The above 3 methods are all ways to become the captain. Hikifuna Kiryu's question just now seemed unreasonable. Brother Ling Yun, do you think I would easily joke about this kind of thing? Hikifuna Kiryu asked back. The promotion of the captain is not determined by one person, right? What's more, you are still in office, even if I think about it, I can't easily replace you. Ling Yun asked a question calmly. Shi. Brother Ling Yun, you are able to remain calm in the face of this temptation. Your performance is really commendable. Hikifuna Kiryu once again praised. Quote. Soon, I will be promoted, so will you believe me? After watching silently for a few seconds, Kiryu Saragasu showed a strange smile. Question mark exclamation mark. Ling Yun's eyes widened instantly as if struck by lightning. As early as on the way to the 12th squad, he had already guessed. Unexpectedly, I guessed it right. Hikifuna Kiryu will be promoted to Team Zero soon. Captain Hikifuna Kiryu. In the Gote 13 system, the captain should be the highest position, so how can you say that you are promoted, degree? Although he knew the truth a long time ago, Ling Yun deliberately asked again in order to ensure that nothing leaked. Brother Ling Yun, this kind of topic is not included in our discussion, let's talk about your thoughts. Hikifuna Kiryu did not answer directly, and cleverly changed the topic. Defeat Sui Feng, Shiba Kaiyan one after another, easily subdue Hiyori. Brother Ling Yun, the above-mentioned achievements have shown that you have the combat power to crush a lieutenant, and you are qualified for the position of captain. Clearing his throat slightly, Hikifuna Kiryu continued, combined with your relationship with Hiyori, you are absolutely the most suitable candidate. Following this period of rational analysis of Ling Yun's views on Hikifuna Kiryu, he immediately had a deeper impression. It turned out that the other party had been observing secretly and knew everything about him. No wonder you suddenly want to meet Captain Hikifuna Kiryu. I am really happy to be appreciated by you. But, Ling Yun's sudden turn made the other party's smile freeze instantly. I have been in the team for less than a year, and my qualifications are far from enough, and secondly, I have not mastered Bankai. So the matter of being promoted to captain is out of my consideration for the time being. I'm sorry that I have to reject your proposal. Ling Yun showed the etiquette that a gentleman should have. His tactful decline did not make the atmosphere awkward. Silence. Soundless silence. Didn't get the answer he wanted. Hikifuna Kiryu's first reaction was to stay silent on the spot. She neither commented nor responded. There was no expression fluctuation on her chubby face, making it impossible to guess what she was thinking. It's no wonder that being able to become a member of Team Zero, this kind of heart and city, far surpasses Hiroko Shinji and the others. Ling Yun sincerely sighed. This is Hikifuna Kiryu's appearance. Let Ling Yun feel the pressure. After half a sound, Hikifuna Kiryu finally spoke. Oh, what a pity. I originally planned to match up a good relationship. It seems that whether I can get rid of being single in the future depends on Hiyori herself. I really don't want her to remain single forever. Hikifuna Kiryu held back for a long time, and said some shocking words. Quote question mark quote. Ling Yun had black question marks all over his face. Aunt Ganqing, you took great pains to invite me to have a secret talk. The reason why we did it for a long time was because of Hiyori's marriage. Nima, you think you are a matchmaker. Quote. But having said that, she looks quite similar, and she must have done the same things in the past. Ling Yun complained secretly. Captain Hikifuna Kiryu, you really have a heart, you have spent so much time thinking about Hiyori's sake. Ling Yun really didn't know what to say. In fact, there is no need for Hikifuna Kiryu to match him up, the relationship between him and Hiyori is already somewhat ambiguous. This secret conversation is superfluous. But well. When the matter developed to this point, Ling Yun simply pushed the boat along and thought of another plot character. That's right, a store manager who likes to play pranks. Captain Hikifuna Kiryu, although I rejected your proposal, I would like to recommend someone. Ling Yun said seriously. What? Brother Ling Yun, in the entire Gote 13, all the lieutenants and chief officers, I really can't think of anyone other than you Wang Wangs who is suitable to succeed the captain. Hikishuki Kiryu let out a light snort, and followed Baoi's skeptical attitude. 2nd Division 3, Urahara Kazuki, you must have heard of him. Ling Yun smiled. Ah, so it's him. Hikifuna Kiryu had a strange expression on his face. She immediately frowned, and said in a suspicious tone, I don't have a deep impression of him, it is said that he is a guy with a loose style and often does not follow the rules. Brother Ling Yun, is such a person really qualified for the position of captain? Hikifuna Kiryu had a big question mark written on his fat face. She strongly doubts Shin. PFF'd. Ling Yun almost couldn't help laughing out loud. I didn't expect the black-bellied store manager to have such a bad reputation. If I heard it, I would definitely vomit blood, right? Invincible Chapter 139. Brother Ling Yun, whether the Urahara Kazuki you mentioned is reliable or not, I feel something is wrong. Hikifuna Kiryu's brows were tightly furrowed, and that round fleshy face was filled with strong doubts. She made it clear that she didn't trust Ling Yun. It can be seen how bad Urahara Kazuki is usually. He is usually relatively low-key, and his style of doing things is more casual, which may have caused a lot of misunderstandings. Ling Yun almost couldn't get round anymore. Even he himself has been cheated many times, if it wasn't for the original plan, Technology Development Bureau. Otherwise, don't say it's a recommendation, it's not bad if you don't say bad things in person. Long before joining the team, Urahara Kazuki approached Ling Yun and had a detailed discussion on the plan of the Technical Development Bureau. It's a pity that planning is difficult. With the current environmental conditions and the positions of the two, it is impossible to realize the plan. But it's different now. Hikifuna Kiryu's promotion is obviously an excellent opportunity. With her recommendation, with Urahara Kazuki's strength, he can definitely pass the captain's assessment. Once the store manager is successfully promoted, follow the development of the original plot. The matter of the Technology Development Bureau has been settled. Okay, I'll inquire again, I hope what you said is true. With a dubious attitude, Hikafuna Kiryu finally reluctantly agreed to 710. But what happened next? But it's wonderful. Brother Ling Yun, since the discussion is over, why don't I do a magic trick for you? Hikafuna Kiryu suddenly changed the subject. She blinked slyly, making it completely confusing. Can you do magic tricks? Of course Ling Yun will not believe it easily. Intuition told him that what Hikafuna Kiryu said was not the same as the magic he thought of. Don't believe it. Just wait patiently and you'll know. Hikafuna Kiryu's smile looks extraordinarily kind, honest and cute. Meet Bomb Chariot. Ling Yun thought about it for a long time, and still felt that this description was the most appropriate. Hikafuna Kiryu's previous life. Maybe it's from the Akamaiki clan. It's poisonous. Captain Hikafuna Kiryu, as long as you are happy, I'd better have something to eat first. Ling Yun smiled awkwardly. You just act. Even if I'm fooled, I lose. He. Then I'll make a fool of myself. BBFG. Before starting the performance, Hikafuna Kiryu deliberately gave Ling Yun a wink. This cute expression full of sensuality almost choked Ling Yun to death. Please, when others are eating, don't do it suddenly. Such a ghostly smile is really killing me. Brother Ling Yun, you are so cute. Capturing Ling Yun's performance, Hikafuna Kiryu repeated his old trick and winked mischievously again. Puff. This time Ling Yun couldn't stand it anymore. The sushi dishes are sprayed out directly. He almost passed out. WDNMD. This is too scary. If that's what magic is called, I'd say someone would rather be blind. Ling Yun almost blew up. Hey, just to tease you, now is the real magic. The moment Hikafuna Kiryu's voice fell, a strong and dazzling light suddenly radiated from her body. Sudden misfortune immediately caught Ling Yun's attention. What is this going to do? Ling Yun tried to see clearly, but the light was so dazzling that it was difficult for him to open his eyes. After about tens of seconds, the light finally dissipated, and the field of vision became clear again. FK. When he saw the situation in front of him clearly, Ling Yun couldn't control his emotions and swears 3 times in a row. In his line of sight, the chubby ant before had disappeared without a trace. Instead, she is a curly-haired beauty with a hot figure, fair and beautiful appearance, and full of charm. Suddenly staged a big change, completely beyond Ling Yun's expectations. This face value, this figure. It's too powerful. Brother Ling Yun, it's the first time we meet. My name is Hikafuna Kiryu, please give me your advice in the future. When Hikafuna Kiryu was speaking, he deliberately blinked an eyebrow. This time it was a charming smile. It almost melted Ling Yun's heart. Captain Hikafuna Kiryu, in fact, Hiyori should learn from you in certain aspects. Ling Yun stared intently. Those headlights were too big. Even if Ling Yun dodges intentionally, he will always attract attention. Hikafuna Kiryu's figure is really nothing to say. He. Brother Ling Yun, if you don't enjoy watching it, you will often come to the 12th team as a guest in the future. Hikafuna Kiryu flirts with Ling Yun in turn. After releasing the Reiatsu accumulated in her body, she returned to her original normality and revealed her stunning beauty. The aforementioned magic trick. Surprise Ling Yun, the goal has been achieved. Even if I want to watch, chances are not many. Ling Yun responded naturally. Well, it's true. The Hueco Mundo expedition is coming soon. After that, I will be transferred from the 12th division. I really don't have many chances to meet each other. Kiryu Hikafuna shook his head regretfully. She inadvertently revealed the specific time when she was promoted to Team 0. Captain Hikafuna Kiryu, don't be so absolute, we will have a chance to meet. Ling Yun showed a faint smile. Really? It seems that you are really confident, so let's wait and see. Hikafuna Kiryu smiled happily. In this way, Ling Yun and Hikafuna Kiryu got acquainted through a farce-like secret conversation. Although they only met once, the two chatted acquaintedly and even forged a friendship. In the end, this special secret talk ended amid laughter and laughter. Night falls and the stars shine. After a day of practice, Ling Yun couldn't wait to come to Urahara Kazuki's laboratory. Oh Ling Yun, you came just in time, and I just happened to have something for you. Before Ling Yun showed his intention, Urahara Kazuki dragged him to a hidden corner mysteriously. What is this? Ling Yun looked down at the bottle in his hand, which the store manager stuffed for him, and asked with a puzzled face. This thing. Urahara Kazuki smiled proudly. I call it the Soul Absorber. Chapter 140. What should have happened still happened. Soul Absorber. Ling Yun frowned. He had never heard of this thing before. But just looking at the name, it seems a bit awesome. Confused, Urahara Kazuki deliberately shook, and smiled triumphantly. Ling Yun, it's rare for you not to be curious. Why were there experimental materials for virtual souls in the laboratory before? That's not really clear. Ling Yun nodded noncommittally. Actually, it's because of the Soul Absorber. Urahara Kazuki handed the instrument to Ling Yun's hands. He went on to explain, the one I handed over to you this time is the improved version I developed during this time. What is the specific function? As long as you carry it on your body, you can absorb its residual soul while purifying the void. Urahara Kazuki briefly explained. Is there still such an operation? Ling Yun raised his eyebrows. Immediately felt extremely miraculous. He has to feel that Urahara Kazuki's brain hole is indeed beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Looking at the entire jingling court, only Kuretsuchi Mayuri, who was imprisoned in the maggot lair, could barely catch up with Urahara Kazuki. These two geniuses are different. It really shows the power of science. Third seat Urahara, why are you in such a hurry to hand this thing over to me? Ling Yun took the soul-absorbing instrument and put it in her arms. Ling Yun, I have received accurate information, and I will go on an expedition to Hueco Mundo in 3 months. Urahara Kazuki revealed an amazing news. So fast. That's right, the accident of the 10th team has promoted this item. The current situation is that the 46th room has been approved, and the captains of the various teams have been clearly notified, and they will start preparations soon. Urahara Kazuki said seriously, so you didn't intend to go to Hueco Mundo, so you gave this thing to me, right? Ling Yun rolled his eyes. Oh brother Ling Yun is really smart. I never planned to participate in such a thrilling expedition to Hueco Mundo. Urahara Kazuki swayed the folding fan leisurely. Expedition to Hueco Mundo, in the eyes of an old man like him, is obviously a thankless task. The store manager didn't intend to go at all. Urahara is 3 seats, so you expect me to collect souls in Hueco Mundo for you. Ling Yun couldn't help complaining. This is the rhythm of using him as a tool man. The more virtual souls there are, the more beneficial it is for the research of soul experiments. You also want to solve the virtual problem as soon as possible, right? Urahara Kazuki asked casually. Okay. Leave the matter of collecting souls to me. Ling Yun shrugged helplessly. As the 3rd member of the 4th team and the strongest genius doctor in the Soul Society, he will definitely participate in the expedition to Hueco Mundo. What's more, in order to seek more breakthroughs, Ling Yun himself plans to go to Hueco Mundo. So, collecting souls, this matter was quickly finalized. Well, according to the usual practice, let's soak in the hot spring for a while. After finishing the matter, Urahara Kazuki was in a good mood. However, Ling Yun complained about his attire. Urahara 3 seats, please clean yourself up when you are free, okay? Looking at the store manager with a bearded face, baggy clothes, and a listless look. Ling Yun finally understood. Why does Hikafuna Kiryu show a disgusted expression when Urahara Kazuki is mentioned during the daytime secret talks? This scruffy, slovenly sample paper. Not to mention outsiders, even Ling Yun couldn't help being disgusted. Ling Yun, you don't understand this. Urahara Kazuki smiled cheerfully, and didn't take it seriously at all, and said with a light smile, people who engage in scientific research and experiments face a lot of accidents every day, so they don't have time to deliberately maintain their image. Well, if I tell you, your image and temperament are related to whether you can be promoted to captain. Are you still taking it seriously? Ling Yun's words came to an end. On Urahara Kazuki's face, the original sloppy expression instantly became stagnant. What? Is it related to the captain's promotion? Even on weekdays, he is indifferent to anything except scientific research experiments. Urahara Kazuki immediately turned pervert when it was mentioned about the captain. Ask for flowers 0. In a second, he became very interested. Urahara's 3rd seat, I also got a precise piece of news about the transfer of the current captain. The news revealed by Ling Yun is exactly what the store manager is interested in. The reason is simple, also because of the Technology Development Bureau. Urahara Kazuki knew very well in his heart that the right to 3 seats alone was not enough, and the same was true for the captain of the covert mobile unit. The only way to be promoted to captain is to completely control the entire team. Only then can we truly establish a Technology Development Bureau. That's why he cares so much. Which team? Urahara Kazuki took a rare serious look. 12 Division, Captain Hikafuna Kiryu. Squad 12. Urahara Kazuki immediately frowned. His first reaction was that Hikafuna Kiryu was a highly respected captain with older qualifications. Although there are not many intersections, it is often possible to hear stories about each other. So there are more or less impressions. Ling Yun. According to what I know, Captain Hikafuna Kiryu, it seems that he is not ready to retire, right? Are you really sure that the news is correct? Urahara Kazuki expressed doubts. However, after a short shock, he was soon relieved. What's the matter? Urahara Kazuki's eyes widened suddenly. She planned to invite me to succeed the captain, but I rejected it in the end, and recommended you to her. Exclamation mark. Ling Yun explained with a chuckle. Urahara Kazuki was surprised for a moment. Is it a royal spy? Urahara Kazuki muttered to himself, eyes full of shock, but such an important matter, I don't think Captain Hikafuna Kiryu would easily reveal it to outsiders. With Ling Yun's current strength, even if Bankai has not awakened for a while, he is still qualified to sit firmly as the captain. Like a nuclear bomb, the store manager's heart instantly. That is because the store manager still finds it incredible. He reacted instantly. It's not retirement, it's promotion. A simple sentence from Ling Yun. But it happened suddenly. Chapter 141 Yanmo vs Hongji. It happened suddenly. Urahara Kazuki felt incredible. If it is possible, he will succeed to the position of captain of the 12th division. Then, 9 times out of 10, the plan of the Technology Development Bureau can really be realized. If there is no fluctuation in the heart, that's fake. Urahara 3 seats, I have already set up the line, and then it depends on your performance. Ling Yun showed a faint smile. Go along with the flow and be a human being. He is also willing to help with this kind of thing. As for being the captain or not, it doesn't really mean much to Ling Yun. The most important thing right now is to stay in the 4th team and follow Sister Wa to practice kendo. Ling Yun, your kindness is appreciated. Urahara Kazuki restrained himself and expressed his sincere gratitude. 3 months from now, once the Hueco Mundo expedition is over, he will surely be vying for the captaincy. The store manager himself has mastered Bankai, and also has the recommendation of Hikifuna Kiryu. If nothing else, you will definitely be promoted to captain. But, even with Hikifuna Kiryu's recommendation, if you want to become the captain of the 12th squad, you still have to pass the captain's assessment. Urahara Kazuki thought about it seriously. Over the years, he either stayed in the maggot nest or hid in the experiment to tinker. There is no popularity at all, so half of the captains jointly recommended the method. Ha ha, I'm afraid I'm thinking about farting. And another way. Under the witness of more than 200 team members, in a fair duel, he personally defeated Hikifuna Kiryu. This approach is also impractical. In his own case. Of the 3 ways to be promoted to captain, only the first method is the most reliable. Only through the captain's assessment. 3rd seat Urahara, do you want me to be your training partner? Ling Yun suddenly proposed. What? Not a bad idea. Urahara Kazuki's eyes lit up instantly. Currently, there is indeed no one more suitable as a sparring partner than Ling Yun in Gote 13. The store manager reckoned that the intensity of the so-called captain assessment should be just like that. It is a great opportunity to practice against Ling Yun now. Bring it on. Has it been a long time? Urahara Kazuki agreed without thinking. After a long period of inactivity, my bones are almost rusted. Facing a formidable opponent like Ling Yun, he immediately became full of fighting spirit. Urahara 3 seats, when you taught me to practice, Zanpakutō Yama had not yet awakened. Be careful, you will be beaten by me later. Ling Yun smiled maliciously. Tisk tisk tisk, I'm not Sui Feng, if you swell, you will pay the price. Urahara Kazuki chuckled lightly. Although he is usually very low-key, he is a hidden dark horse. Putting aside all kinds of black technology, his own strength alone is not inferior to ordinary Shinigami captains. If there is a desperate fight, the result is really uncertain. Then we will wait and see. Ling Yun is eager to try. It is a rare opportunity to compete with the captain-level Shinigami in an above-board manner. Of course he won't miss it easily. Soon after, the center of the underground laboratory. Ling Yun and Urahara Kazuki teamed up and set up a 5-fold barrier. In addition to the laboratory itself, there has long been a special protective cover. Enough to deal with any emergencies. Urahara 3 seats. In order to avoid wasting time, I think you should release Bankai directly. While speaking, Ling Yun reached for his waistband and pulled out Zanpakutō. Oh ha ha ha, Ling Yun, you should be very clear that aggressive methods are useless to me. Unmoved at all, Urahara Kazuki also held Zanpakutō in his hand. Well, then I just have to force you to use Bankai. Ling Yun held Zanpakutō with his backhand. A fierce momentum burst out. The special Reiatsu fused with 7 attributes instantly radiated to the surroundings. Reiatsu is stronger than before. Reiatsu's head-on wind blew away his bird's nest-like hair. Urahara Kazuki's eyes dimmed, and he could no longer see any signs of light. Ling Yun's Reiatsu strength make him feel strongly threatened. Urahara 3 seats. It's still the same sentence. Use Bankai directly. My Yanmo will not show mercy. Ling Yun holds Zanpakutō, and releases words from his mouth. Used by the evil god, Wei Wu has exhausted his body. Yanmo Dark Scythe. Ling Yun's words were resounding. The Zanpakutō in his hand, with the sound, emitted a dark light. Facing Urahara's delighted eyes, the dark sickle of death took shape. The entire Soul Society, the only all-attribute Zanpakutō. Urahara Kazuki's expression was extremely complicated. Holding Zanpakutō's hand, he quietly increased the strength a little. Tweet. Hongji. Without any hesitation, Urahara Kazuki released Hongji's Power Emperor instantly with a thought. The Zanpakutō in his hand was shining red. Reiatsu at the captain level, turned into a crescent-shaped blade, galloped towards Ling Yun. No procrastination, no temptation. Coming up is positive and tough. As a Kido series Zanpakutō, Hongji has a variety of tricks, integrating attack, defense and control. And its Bankai is even more heaven-defying. Meet the eyes of the two. Just an ordinary move made his eyes shine. This time, a large part of the reason for the contest with the store manager is to force out Bankai. Ling Yun, it seems that you have learned a lot from Captain Unohana. Urahara Kazuki was startled. Just in this gap, the huge crescent moon slash was condensed into shape in an instant. Even Ling Yun is coveted. Urahara Kazuki looked sideways for a moment. The bloody slash has come in front of him. 1.8 Ling Yun held Yanmo high and waved it calmly. Kanenbaraki Benihime Aratame, its ability is to transform the things it touches. The red and black slashes collided with each other. The dark black Reiatsu spread fiercely along the edge of the blade. The power of Yakiryu Kendo is vividly displayed. He immediately smelled the smell of blood in the air. Finally, the power to transform all things. Among them, the evil spirit of hell is hidden, exuding a bloody smell. Chapter 142 Bankai, Kanenbaraki Benihime Aratame. Underground Laboratory. In the five-fold boundary barrier, red rays of light intersect continuously. Zanpakutō Hongji and Yanmo, showing a fierce confrontation. Reiatsu of Ling Yun, Reiatsu of the store manager. They already have the level of captain level. Therefore, the collision between Reiatsu, even the five-fold barrier, has become a bit shaky. An ordinary slash has already overwhelmed Hongji in power. If you continue to grow at this speed, Ling Yun's strength is unimaginable. Urahara Kazuki held Hongji in his hand, and frowned solemnly. It is the moment of fighting. He has such an intuitive feeling. Zanpakutō Yama, much stronger than he expected. Urahara 3 seats. It seems that you seem surprised, but it was just warming up just now. Ling Yun held the death scythe in his hand, and his body was surrounded by black Reiatsu. Relying on Yanmo's particularity, he firmly occupied the momentum of the audience. Warming up. Don't you think it's a little too inflated to say that? Urahara Kazuki was angry and funny. 11. You know, just a year ago, Ling Yun was still his apprentice. Who would have thought that Ling Yun's strength would improve by leaps and bounds a year later? Facing Ling Yun's face-to-face instigation, even if you want to get back the scene, you must go all out. Bloated. I don't think so. Ling Yun raised the sickle of death, and the corner of his mouth curled up. Urahara 3 seats. Not long ago in Birukongai, I happened to learn some new moves. This time I will use you to practice my hands. Puff. The store manager almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. Take me to practice hand. Dare he be the one to be fooled from the very beginning? This Ling Yun is too scheming. Crackling. There was no movement from Ling Yun either. Surrounding the body are those substantial black Reiatsu. Suddenly turned into violent thunder and lightning. Lightning arcs leapt, and thunder light flickered. The death scythe stood upside down in midair, continuously releasing the power of thunder. Created an amazing scene. Are you going to use the power of thunder? Urahara Kazuki didn't think much, just raised his eyebrows. After all, Yanmo is a full attribute Zanpakutō, so it is not surprising to switch to thunder attribute. But what happened next? It made the store manager feel incredible. Urahara 3 seats. Look out, Yanmo's new move. Ling Yun slowly closed his eyes. He kept pouring a large amount of Reiatsu into Yanmo Ne. Boom. Accompanied by a deafening bang, the power of thunder erupted instantly. The resplendent and shining thunder, together with the jet black light, rushed into the midair together. At first glance, it looks like a black canopy spreading rapidly across the sky. The momentum is extremely loud. This aura, this power, is it possible? Urahara Kazuki's expression changed drastically. He could clearly sense that if the venue was open to the air, the climate would probably be affected as well. Zanpakutō, which can affect the climate, seems to be the only one with Yanling Wan. Urahara Kazuki instantly thought of something that seemed unbelievable to him. As predicted. Bang. The sound of thunder and roar was deafening. The entire mid-air of the basement was shrouded in dark clouds and shadows, revealing Shaosei and desolation. It seems that a catastrophe is about to usher in the doomsday. That's right. The new trick Ling Yun mentioned is actually Yan Lingwan's Bankai. Since the last time, after the fight in Bei Rukongai, Ling Yun used Yanmo's characteristics to perfectly copy all the moves. That is, at this time, Yanmo in his hand was no different from Yan Lingwan. Even more powerful. Third seat Urahara, can you force out your Bankai now? Ling Yun held Yanmo in his hand, showing a faint smile. Crackling. The sound enough to pierce the eardrum continued to ring like musical notes. The water molecules in the air are ionized by the black lightning arc and quickly evaporate in the air. The next moment, thick thunderclouds in the midair were deformed irregularly. 11 bright black thunder lights fell from the sky at an extremely fast speed. They were extremely precise and locked on the figure of the store manager. Call. Brother Ling Yun, if I'm not mistaken, this should be Yan Lingwan's Bankai, right? Urahara Kazuki breathed out. On the face covered with stubble, there was an extremely complicated expression. It's one thing to guess in advance, quite another to see it with your own eyes. Full attribute Zanpakutō is enough for heaven defying. Now even Bankai can copy it. If it hadn't been for the psychological preparation, Urahara Kazuki would have almost cursed. I want to report. Someone is cheating. But complaints belong to complaints. He recovered quickly and stared intently. Once hit by lightning. Severely injured, are dead. The consequences are unbearable. The store manager decided not to hide his clumsiness anymore. Brother Ling Yun, it seems that as you wish, you have to use Bankai's power. Urahara Kazuki squinted his eyes slightly, exuding a fierce aura from his body. Bankai, Kanenbaraki Benihime Aratame. Accompanied by an angry shout. Urahara Kazuki finally unleashes Bankai's power. His appearance at this moment is completely different from the light omens of the usual day, which is far from the edge. On the contrary, there was an extra sense of solemnity that had never been seen before, which immediately made people look sideways. Boom. The moment when Urahara Kazuki's Reiatsu reached its peak. The Zanpakutō Hongji in his hand disappeared out of thin air. Zanpakutō is missing. It is certainly a good thing for an opponent to suddenly lose their weapons. But Ling Yun felt a sense of crisis in his heart. His intuition told him, if he is not careful, he will definitely pay a heavy price. Urahara's third seat, Hongji's Bankai, looks very good. Ling Yun's gaze shifted and stayed behind Urahara Kazuki, on the piece of Reiatsu that was constantly condensing. He frowned deeply. The aura exuded by Bankai tended to intensify. If you don't act in the real way, I will be slaughtered. Urahara Kazuki's eyes are as bright as stars. The indifferent and magnificent words seem to contain the emotion of contempt for all living beings. Chapter 143 The Power to Transform Everything. Brother Ling Yun. If you don't act in the real way, I will be slaughtered. Urahara Kazuki's eyes are as bright as stars. The indifferent and magnificent words seem to contain the emotion of contempt for all living beings. After unleashing the power of Bankai, his emotions are similarly infected. It seems to have transformed into a holy bodhisattva aloof. Boom. The majestic Reiatsu beam of light almost overturned the entire basement. The dazzling light makes people unable to open their eyes. As time passed, a huge figure formed behind Urahara Kazuki. At the same time, hovering in the sky, those thick thunderclouds. A path was forcibly split by the light of Purdue's sentient beings. The colorful shining light reflected behind Urahara Kazuki, reflecting the true face of that huge figure. This is, even if you are mentally prepared. It is even the premise of knowing, but Ling Yun still has a feeling of being overrated at this moment. He stared straight at Violation intently, with complex expressions on his face, as if he had seen something unbelievable. Ling Yun's gaze attracted behind Urahara Kazuki. That is because there appeared a holy woman. Wearing a white and luxurious ancient kimono, the long soft hair tied up high on the shawl, and the flawless and beautiful face exuded a holy and dignified temperament. Countless huge beams of light descended from the sky carrying 7 colors. The majestic body, bathed in the divine light, made this holy woman look like a god descending from the world. This picture looks like Avalokitesvara, who saves all sentient beings, is guarding behind Urahara Kazuki. Ling Yun couldn't help but feel a sense of inviolability. Ling Yun, did you see it? This is Hongji's Bankai. Urahara Kazuki's eyes revealed the colorful luster of Madara. While speaking, it also showed a mysterious and powerful aura. Although Zanpakutō Hongji temporarily disappeared because of the solution. But Urahara Kazuki's aura is rising steadily, and he has the ability to transform everything. Although Urahara Kazuki has always mastered a variety of black technologies. Even without relying on Zanpakutō, he still has incredible strength. But the appearance of Avalokitesvara Hongji showed the store manager's attitude at this moment. He defaults to Ling Yun as an opponent of the same level. Even a rival. Urahara 3 seats, so this is your Bankai. It's a whole other feeling to be face to face in person. Looking at the holy Guanyin Hongji, Ling Yun silently gave a thumbs up in her heart. Face the forces that transform everything. Even Yan Lingwan's Bankai may not be able to get the benefits. Ling Yun, your Yanmo is also amazing, just any new trick has the power of Bankai level. Urahara Kazuki stood in place and started the business mutual blow mode. His whole body was shrouded in colorful holy light, and his voice echoed in midair like a bell. At the same time, it was a pitch-black thunderbolt, carrying a berserk thunder, blasting down with precision. Bang! The pitch-black thunder that contained dead power was transformed by a mysterious force before it touched Urahara Kazuki's body, and suddenly became dim. The thunder disintegrated bit by bit, and finally turned into thin air, until it disappeared without a trace. The most important is, from beginning to end, Urahara Kazuki does nothing. Just by standing still, he diffuses the thunderous offensive. Ling Yun remained silent. The scene that happened earlier, to be honest, exceeded his expectations. Ling Yun originally thought that with Yan Mo's Reiatsu increasing his holdings, the power of Yan Lingwan Bankai was definitely stronger than before. But even so, it was still easily resolved. The power of transforming everything really surprised him. Ling Yun, if I were you, there's no need to show such a surprised expression. Urahara Kazuki stood there indifferently. Actually, to be precise, the 10 thunderbolts just now didn't disappear, they were just transformed by me. Remodeling. Ling Yun's eyes flickered. The ability of Kanenbaraki Benihime Aratame to remake everything it touches. Facing Ling Yun's gaze, Urahara Kazuki took the initiative to explain, the so-called transformation is to change things into another form. It is an ability to change the material form in essence. 1. Actually, just describe it like this, your feelings are still very vague. On Urahara Kazuki's face, there was neither joy nor sadness. He moved forward step by step, getting closer and closer to Ling Yun. And the huge Guanyin Hongji, always inseparable, guarding behind the store manager. Ling Yun also observed that Urahara Kazuki took every step forward. Within the five-fold barrier, the surging pitch-black thunderstorms will gradually become dim. The situation is gradually reversed. Urahara's third seat, I have to admit that the power of Hongji Bankai really shines. But, Ling Yun deliberately stopped talking. A sly smile appeared. Although Yan Lingwan's Bankai was firmly suppressed, he didn't panic at all. After all, this trick itself is copied. It is not Yan Mo's real Bankai, it can only be regarded as one of Shikai's characteristics. So even if the situation is reversed, Ling Yun's heart was still calm. Even secretly pleased. Because this means that he has ample opportunity to repeat the same mistakes he made before. Once luck is good enough, might really be able to replicate the power of Zanpakutō Hongji. Ling Yun, Yan Mo's power has been transformed by me, this contest will end here. Urahara Kazuki stepped forward lightly, with a relaxed expression on his face. There is a certainty in the words. Use the special ability of Guanyin Hongji to transform all things. He won easily. Urahara 3 seats. Actually, I can force Bankai out of you, my original goal has been achieved, and the result of the victory or defeat is not important at all. Ling Yun showed a little smile and bought it. Illuminated by the colorful holy light, the body is constantly transformed. And Ling Yun's perception became deeper and deeper. He vaguely had some clues. It seems that I have realized a little bit of power to reform all things. Chapter 144 Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force. Soon after. With the end of this duel, everything returned to normal in the five-fold barrier. Be it the majestic Thunderbolt or the majestic Guanyin Hongji, Bankai's power has completely dissipated. Yan Mo and Hongji, also restored to its original form. Ling Yun, through this contest, you should have some insights, right? Urahara Kazuki's mood, because of Bankai's disappearance, returned to the original light omen. It really helped a lot. Ling Yun nodded noncommittally. Although the time is not too long, it is continuously illuminated by the holy light, coupled with Yan Mo's own characteristics. Ling Yun still has some insights into the power of transforming everything. As long as it takes time to comprehend and digest, it is not difficult to master this power. Strictly speaking, Kanonbaraki Benihime Aratame. It's the second Bankai stolen by Ling Yun. Oh heh. As long as you can help, I will give you a big gift on the day you want to practice Bankai. Urahara Kazuki smiled mysteriously. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Ling Yun put away Zanpakutō with satisfaction. Not long after returning to Gui Jingling in 087, another unexpected harvest occurred. He is quite satisfied with the current situation. Given time, as long as there are more opportunities, go through the fight again and again. His Zanpakutō Yama will truly transform into the all-powerful Zanpakutō with no flaws. Time flies. 3 months passed in a blink of an eye. The quarters of the 4th team. Early in the morning, as soon as Ling Yun came to the team building, he was approached by Katetsu Aizen. Ling Yun, I finally found you. The captain has something urgent to look for you. Vice Captain Katetsu Aizen was out of breath, obviously trotting all the way over. Is there another urgent task? Ling Yun frowned. The last emergency mission happened in Rukongai 3 months ago, when the 10th squad was almost wiped out. Now suddenly there is an urgent task. Ling Yun's first reaction was to go on an expedition to Hueco Mundo. That's right, the side meet is coming. The captain will tell you in detail later. Katetsu Aizen led the way, and the two quickly left the aisle. Soon after, Captain's office. Ling Yun, in 5 days, the Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force will be established. As the 3rd seat of the 4th Division, you will also participate in this war. Unohana Retsu sat in front of the wooden table, her voice sounded extraordinarily gentle. As the war finally about to start. The moment he heard the news, Ling Yun's mood finally fluctuated. As early as 3 months ago, he had already received wind that Gote 13 would launch a crusade against Hueco Mundo. 3 months passed in a flash. Finally waited for this day. Hey, you're much calmer than I expected. Unohana Retsu chuckled. Captain Unohana Retsu laughed. Ling Yun picked up a cup of hot tea, took a sip leisurely, and said, I have not only been to the blocks at the end of Rukongai, but I have experienced the harsh environment, even Hueco Mundo. It's true, it is said that you have been to a larger area. Unohana asked deliberately. Before joining the team, I went there once, and met a villain there. Ling Yun nodded. The villain of the Zaraki district. Sister Hua's beautiful face changed immediately after hearing the news. She immediately recalled what happened to her in the Zaraki district when she was still a villain 2,000 years ago. Back then, the boy who held the sealed state changed his destiny in a disguised form. Dry after a while. When Ling Yun mentioned the bigger area again, Unohana Retsu suddenly became very sensitive. Captain Unohana, what's wrong with you? Ling Yun noticed the change in Sister Hua's expression. It's nothing, it's just poor BBEJ resounding some past events. Sister Hua quickly came back to her senses, and her heart became calm again. The memory of the past, with her serving as the captain of the 4th Division, has long been sealed in the memory. Sister Hua has already looked down on everything. By the way, the so-called Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force shouldn't be all members of Gote 13, right? Ling Yun asked curiously. Yes, not all Shinigami will participate. Unohana Retsu nodded, and then explained in detail, if you want to reach Hueco Mundo, you must go through the Black Cavity, but the Black Cavity has a limited carrying capacity and can only accommodate a certain number of people. Therefore, the meaning of the captain is to hope that each team will select the most suitable personnel to form the Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force together. Sister Hua gave a rough description of the situation in a few words. I see. Ling Yun expressed understanding. After all, it was more than 100 years ago, and the Technology Development Bureau had not yet been established. If you want to forcibly open the Black Cavity, you probably have to rely on the strength of the captain. What's more, there is still a disconnect between Hueco Mundo and Soul Society. To keep the Black Cavity channel stable, the number of people must be strictly controlled. This leads to the decision mentioned above. Ling Yun, you should be looking forward to this expedition to Hueco Mundo. Unohana Retsu smiled gracefully. Hueco Mundo, I really want to go for a walk. After all, when I was still studying in the academy, I once fought against Manos Grande from the Void Knight Palace. Ling Yun revealed his thoughts intuitively. So, are you planning to go to Zai Palace? That is absolutely impossible, almost off the charts. As for going deep into the Void Knight Palace, Unohana Retsu smiled peacefully. Obvious favor and favoritism. When she looked at Ling Yun, there was light in her eyes. I have a team with me, the team members of the 4th team, there will definitely not be any casualties. That's right, in order to ensure the safety of the soldiers, this expedition to Hueco Mundo is mainly responsible for sweeping the surrounding area. Unohana Retsu's gaze is tender. As for favorability, with you here, I can rest assured. Sister Hua suddenly raised a serious question. Void Knight Palace. According to his guess, this expedition to Hueco Mundo should only be a partial sweep. Captain Unohana, you can rest assured. Ling Yun was taken aback for a moment, then smiled. Captain Unohana, even if I have a strong will, Jinglingting will not allow it. Ling Yun smiled confidently. In addition, the entire Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force, saving lives and healing the wounded, can all be covered by me alone. The relationship between the two has become closer with time. In the long history of the Soul Society, there has never been a single case where the Shinigami invaded the Void Palace on a large scale. Chapter 145 Aizen's Ambition. The Other Side. 5th Division Team Building, Captain Team Affairs Room. 5th Division Team Affairs Room. Captain Hueco. You called me here in such a hurry, is it because of the expedition to Hueco Mundo? With Aizen's respectful voice, Aizen broke the order. The black Siba outfit was covered with white captain's haori, with thick bangs hanging down in front of his forehead. The black-rimmed glasses on the bridge of the nose add a touch of scholarly atmosphere. Aizen's attire is not much different from a year ago, with a standard image of a good old man. He is easygoing, kind-hearted, honest. The label on Aizen has been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people over the years. He is the most popular of all the adjutants. Aizen, why did you come here so soon? I almost fell asleep waiting. Seeing Aizen with a smile on his face, Hiriko Shinji asked nonchalantly. He casually yawned. It doesn't look like the slightest bit, the demeanor that a captain should have. Captain Hiriko, I'm very sorry, I was a little delayed when I was about to leave. Facing Hiriko Shinji's questioning, the smile on Aizen's face never faded. No matter when, Aizen's temper remained the same. Neither humble nor overbearing, with a mild temper. He has always been watertight, and no one can see any flaws at all. But, Aizen's near-perfect acting, in the eyes of Hiriko Shinji, is sickeningly false. In the past year, Hiriko Shinji, as always, kept his distance from Aizen. Although one is the captain and the other is the vice-captain. But the two are strangers. Really, it's rare to see that you lack the concept of time. Could it be that you did something secretly? Hiriko Shinji didn't want to talk, and looked at him with disgust. He casually yawned. Then he directly disregarded his image and sat down cross-legged in front of the wooden case. Aizen smiled without changing his face. Captain Hiriko joked, but simply overslept. The approachable attitude seems to be chatting about homework. All right, don't take it too seriously, I'm just talking casually. Hiriko Shinji's expression was loose. From beginning to end, he clearly showed his dislike for Aizen. It seemed a little unusual for this kind of thing to happen to the captain and the adjutant. The atmosphere in the team office seemed to be calm. In fact, there is a depressing atmosphere hidden. Captain Hiriko, what exactly is that? The smile on Aizen's face was as bright as ever. He didn't change his attitude and tone of speaking because the atmosphere was not right. Hueco Mundo Expedition. Although there have been gossips before, the official naming of the captain was just issued not long ago. Hiroko Shinji brewed a pot of hot tea, taste leisurely. As the war finally about to start, Aizen has always maintained a standing posture, looking a little stiff. If there are outsiders present, they cannot help but sigh with emotion. In front of his captain, Aizen is too humble. Aizen, you should be very interested. After drinking the hot tea in the cup, Hiroko Shinji suddenly lowered his voice. He stared into Aizen's eyes, with a sly smile on his lips. It's completely mind-boggling. Captain Hiroko, in fact, you guessed it right. As the adjutant of the 5th Division, I really want to participate in this war. Aizen smiled gently. Regardless of Hiroko Shinji's expression, Aizen always had a smile on his face. From the beginning to the end, Aizen showed a decent image of devoting himself to the 5th Division and swearing allegiance to the death. Okay, since you are full of enthusiasm, then this time you will be the leader of the 5th Division. Hiroko Shinji put down his teacup and said casually. Captain Hiroko, there should be a certain limit to the number of people on this expedition. Aizen expressed doubts. Don't worry, there will be a captain's regular meeting in the afternoon, and you can attend instead of me. There must be a place for you to participate in this expedition to Hueco Mundo. Hiroko Shinji yawned again. It's not hard to hear. He insisted that Aizen join the expedition. Captain Hiroko, I understand, I will definitely live up to your expectations. Aizen expressed his gratitude respectfully. Ask for flowers. Okay, I'm a little sleepy, you go to deal with team affairs first, I'm going back to sleep. Hiroko Shinji turned his back to Aizen, and waved his hands in disgust. It's as if an order to evict guests has been issued. Hiroko Shinji, then I'll leave first. Aizen nodded respectfully, then intuitively turned and left. The moment he turned around, the original gentle smile disappeared instantly. In Aizen's eyes, there was no trace of respect, only a heinous indifference. All the dialogue in the conversation just now is the hypocrisy of both parties. Only one word is true, and that is wanting to join this Hueco Mundo expedition. Even as strong as Aizen. At this point in time, not really stepping into the Hueco Mundo. Therefore, for him, the Encirclement Expeditionary Force is an excellent opportunity. It is also the origin of all conspiracies. In the blink of an eye, it was afternoon. The captain's regular meeting that Hiroko Shinji said was held as scheduled. 13 squads, all captain-level Shinigami, are all gathered in the team affairs room of the first squad. Everyone was silent, and even the sound of breathing was clearly audible. At this time, because of the war, all the atmosphere is particularly serious. For ordinary Shinigami, this is a regular meeting where big bosses gather. First team building, captain team affairs room. Ling Yun, Captain Yamamoto, an old man, leaning on a cane with both hands, looked like a torch, scanning the whole room with majestic eyes. In the crowd, the aura of the old man alone easily crushed the audience. That is, he just stood still, like a volcano, exuding an aura of calmness and majesty. Well, even the ones standing in front are captain-level Shinigami. The entire team office fell silent. But no one can compare with the old man. In addition to Aizen representing the 5th team, there is also an unexpected figure. Replaces Katetsu Aizen, the newcomer, who attends the captain's regular meeting. Although some people are missing, everyone who should appear is here. Let's start the discussion of the meeting immediately. Invincible Chapter 146. Among the captains, there is one more newcomer. That is Ling Yun, who replaced Katetsu Aizen and participated in the captain's regular meeting. That's right. With the support of Sister Wa, Ling Yun became the leader of Team 4. So instead of Lieutenant Katetsu Aizen, he participated in a rare captain's meeting. His appearance. Naturally, it attracted the attention of the big guys. Tisk tisk tisk, isn't this the third seat of Ling Yun? It's rare to have a new face. Standing on the left, Yoruichi took the lead in provoking the topic and breaking the dull atmosphere. In fact, the moment I saw Ling Yun, Yoruichi was still quite surprised. After all, if you really want to count, Ling Yun's time in the team is not even a year old. Third seat Ling Yun, you are here today, you should replace the vice captain Yang Yin. The 073 really has this opportunity. Being able to feel the atmosphere in advance will have many benefits for your future. Captain Kuchiki Yinling of the 6th Division nodded kindly at Ling Yun. Kuchiki, Shihouin, two of the 4 great aristocrats, the current head of the family, made a statement. The atmosphere suddenly became very subtle. Everyone present, who can be promoted to captain, will naturally not be an ordinary person. Anyone can clearly hear that Yoruichi and Kuchiki Yinling are deliberately promoting Ling Yun. After all, Gote 13 throughout. Although it looks peaceful on the surface, it is still divided into different factions secretly. For example, Masked Legion and the others are the captains of the new faction, so they will naturally hug each other. And Waji, Kyoraku Shunsui, Jashiro Yukataki, etc. It belongs to the school of old seniority. Kuchiki and Shihouin, on the other hand, represented the interests of the aristocracy. Therefore, occupying one more seat will naturally be of more help to one's own interests. This is also the default and spoken rule. Ha 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 ha. I agree with the views of the two captains. I am very optimistic about Ling Yun's future. Hakafuna Kiryu, who had met before, deliberately winked at Ling Yun. Her sudden statement. Naturally, other attention has been paid. It's really rare. Captain Hakafuna, who has always been neutral, would take the initiative to favor someone. Hiroku Shunsui, who has a bold personality, is wearing a floral gown. While he was talking, he kept observing Ling Yun. In fact, before this, although I heard some deeds from Jashiro, but never had a chance to meet. It was rare to see him this time, and it was on such a serious and special occasion as the captain's regular meeting. Hiroku Shunsui is naturally very interested. Actually, I also think brother Ling Yun is very pleasing to the eye. I think so. Me too. As expected, the group of masked legion expressed their views one after another. Almost overwhelmingly support Ling Yun. This scene, even the captain, was very surprised. High in talent, strong in strength, Zanpakutō is special. These are amazing enough, now we have to add good popularity. Ling Yun's starting point is far beyond ordinary people. Even the captain couldn't help but take a second look. Captains, thank you for your appreciation. Even though he won the favor of the audience, Ling Yun responded with humility and courtesy. Words and deeds, speaking attitude, almost watertight. Ling Yun, your natural strength is obvious to all, just relax now. Yoruichi reminded with a chuckle. Captain Yoruichi is right, just treat this as the usual team building. Yunohana Retsu echoed. Ling Yun. Among the sheep, Aizen has been watching secretly. Now Hiroko Shinji is absent, although Aizen represents the fifth team, he is unremarkable among the captains. Aizen's obscurity is in stark contrast to Ling Yun's attention. Quote. Ling Yun, who has been receiving attention all the time, suddenly noticed Aizen's peeping gaze. He looked in the direction, but the response he got was Aizen's kind smile. Aizen, finally caught by him. Ling Yun remained silent. In fact, he has always had a secret embankment. Every time Ling Yun passed by the team building of the fifth team, Ling Yun would subconsciously speed up his pace and would not stay there too much. The reason is simple, just to avoid, by Aizen produces an intersection. Aizen Sosuke. This extremely dangerous man, it has been lurking for many years, peeping all the time, looking for opportunities to realize the plan. Although currently, Ling Yun possesses captain-level strength. But this strength is not enough in front of Aizen. That's why he stays away. And this time, the captain finally spoke. The captain raised his eyes lightly, his eyes were deep in vicissitudes, and he scanned every face. Okay, everyone keep quiet, let's go directly to the topic. Is it finally here? The audience was silent. Everyone present, the expressions changed, and the mood became urgent. Because 3 months ago, there was gossip, and as time went by, more and more people caught the wind. Therefore, this expedition can be regarded as attracting the attention of the whole people. In addition to Gotei 13's Shinigami, the Hakka nobility of Jinglingting is also highly anticipated. Over the years, Hueco Mundo has expanded rapidly and its strength has continued to grow. Especially in the past year, this momentum has intensified, and it seems to have a tendency to threaten the Soul Society. So not long ago, Room 46 specially issued an order, deciding to launch a war against Hueco Mundo. The captain's deep words were like a heavyweight bomb, instantly detonating the atmosphere of the audience 0.7 times. The Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force will be assembled within 5 days, and will arrive at the Manos Grande Circle through the Black Cavity Passage at the position of Betaman. And today's regular meeting is to discuss the issue of candidates for the Expeditionary Force. In a few words, the captain pushed this regular meeting to the point. Captain, what is the specific plan? Yoruichi asked. Even with the assistance of this old man, the maximum limit of the Black Tunnel can only accommodate 6 captain-level Shinigami. So today's regular meeting is to discuss these 6 places. After briefly explaining the situation clearly, the captain once again regained his majesty. The candidates who finally participated in the expedition uphold the principle of fairness, so the old man will not interfere too much. Of course, others have a different mood. Chapter 147 Hueco Mundo of Eternal Night. Including the captain and vice-captain. Even with the assistance of the old man, the forcibly opened Black Tunnel can only accommodate 6 captain-level Shinigami at most. This also means that places are limited. In fact, Shinigami, who is older, does not have much enthusiasm for going to Hueco Mundo. The voids in the peripheral area, even if they are wiped out, there will not be much sense of accomplishment. It's better to leave the opportunity to the newcomers, which just plays the role of tempering. Therefore, the captain's words just fell. Sister Wa, Hiroku Shunsui, Jashiro Yukitaki, these veteran captains immediately showed their attitude. Since the capacity is limited, I won't join in the fun and leave the opportunity to young people. Hiroku Shunsui, who was dressed in a floral dress, let out a cynical laugh. Shun Shui is right, my physical condition is not good, it will only hinder everyone. Good friend Jashiro Yukitaki followed behind and made a statement. This medicine jar, like in the original book, has been in offline mode for a long time. For the 4th team, Ling Yun will take part instead. Sister Wa showed a graceful smile. Except for the three of them, the others also expressed their views. The second team is like this. Sui Feng will lead the team, and Nozomi will assist in commanding. Yoruichi did not give up his quota. Team 3 gives up. Captain Hueco was in poor health, so I temporarily replaced him and became the leader of the fifth team. Aizen, who had been silent all this time, had a role for the first time. Captain Hueco is sick. After hearing Aizen's words, the other members of the Masquerade Corps showed contemptuous expressions. It's almost a no-brainer, and it's a false excuse, too. With Hueco Shinji's character, he must take this opportunity to hide in the team building and sleep late. I want to go to the virtual circle. Me too. Muguruma Kensai, love Aikawa. The two strong captains looked eager to fight. Well, with the two of you in charge, the safety of this expedition will be foolproof. The captain readily agreed. Ever since, Sui Feng, Aizen, Muguruma Kensai, love Aikawa. 4 spots have already been confirmed. And next. Hiyori and Yadomaru Lisa, representing their respective teams, occupy the last 2 places. The candidates for the expeditionary army have been decided just like that. All right, since the candidate has been determined, the discussion ends here. We will gather at Baidaman in 5 days. As soon as the Black Cavity Channel is opened, immediately launch an expedition against Hueco Mundo. After the matter of the expedition was arranged, the captain gave the order with a dignified face. The captain's regular meeting ended accordingly. Time flies. 5 days passed in a blink of an eye. Jingling Court, Baidaman. The Kido are here too. It seems that there is no Technology Development Bureau. It is not an easy task to forcibly open the black hole. Ling Yun arrived early in the morning with the 4th team. At the end of his line of sight, a large number of Kido people came here early in the morning to wait. Among them, the most eye-catching one is the big Kido who stands in the front. Tessai Tsukubishi, wearing a dark blue robe with strange patterns engraved on it, holding a black cane in his hand. Unlike the strange uncle later, Tessai Tsukubishi 100 years ago was still a high-ranking Daikido head, and was admired by thousands of people in Jinglingting. But well, in the original plot, the scene where the strange uncle forcibly feeds the medicine left a deep impression. As a result, when Ling Yun looks at each other, he always feels weird. With the captain as the leader and the assistance of the Kido people, it is barely possible to open the black tunnel. Ling Yun observed for a while, and soon came to a conclusion. As predicted, with the assembly of personnel completed. After the captain gave a passionate speech. Then comes the most important part. Boom. Accompanied by loud and piercing bangs, a special result started. A majestic Reiatsu beam of light shot straight into the sky with great momentum. Shrouded in the azure blue light, the vast power of time and space emerges. What a powerful force of time and space. Looking at the towering blue light, Ling Yun couldn't help feeling emotional. And the Zanpakutō Yanmo on the girdle gave out special fluctuations like resonance. At the same time, prickly, accompanied by an extremely ear-piercing sound. The violently distorted space was torn apart suddenly. The black cavity channel has no end in sight, revealing boundless darkness. It appears. It also means that the horn of war has sounded. Soon after, Hueco Mundo outskirts. A round of icy cold moon hung high above the sky. There is no end to the vast sky, and the stars dotted the sky are gone. Except for the cold moon that emits soft light, there is only a dead night sky. In this night sky full of endless darkness, the smell of killing and blood is everywhere. The soft moonlight shining down from the sky is like a piercing sharp knife, bringing chilling fear to people all the time. Looking around, there is a vast expanse of yellow sand, and there is no end in sight. In one of the barren and dilapidated areas, thousands of figures in deathly costumes stood orderly on the sand dunes. Each person has a different expression, perhaps looking around curiously, or trembling nervously. And above everyone's heads, a dark tunnel suddenly appeared. Anyone who saw this scene should understand. The expeditionary force successfully arrived at Hueco Mundo. Hueco Mundo is much more desolate than expected, and it is very different from Soul Society. Muguruma Kensai clasped his hands and kept observing the surrounding environment. He frowned quickly, seeming a little disappointed. Kenshi, it's my first time here too, the environment in Hueco Mundo is worse than I imagined. Love Aikawa, the Afro, looked excited. As for the others, the strength is not so strong, naturally the mood is very different. Sui Feng, this place is barren, what a waste of a lot of land. Nozomi, with a brown jet-cut haircut and a slender face, is full of abundance. His first reaction was not fear, but regret. PFF'd. Sui Feng at the side, no matter how cold his heart was, couldn't help being amused. Notion, please, stop thinking about doing business, this is the cruel Hueco Mundo. I'm just feeling it. Nozomi stroked his hair, and the big gold ring in his hand was particularly eye-catching. The original tense atmosphere. It also eased up a little. Chapter 148 Shiyelaporo's Peep. At the same time. The queue of the 4th Division. Seat Ling Yun, what should I do next? Hundreds of soldiers behind him waited for Ling Yun's order. Don't worry, let's survey the surrounding terrain first, and make sure to prepare the logistics materials. Ling Yun ordered in an orderly manner. Although he was leading the team for the first time, he showed a calm side of the hidden path. Impressive. Yes. The members of the 4th squad are absolutely convinced by Ling Yun's order. Because of Sister Hua's support, they even regarded Ling Yun as their future successor. And at this time, Sui Feng and Shi Jujun walked over. Brother Ling Yun, your courage is really amazing. As soon as Shi Jujun met, he flattered him. Really worthy of being an old fritters. As for Sui Feng, he was as cold as ever, and just nodded his head. However, because of the size and slim fit of the deadly costume on her body, it completely outlines her figure. The arc of Linglong Miaoman. Even Ling Yun couldn't help but take another look. Ling Yun, let our second team cooperate with us in surveying the terrain. Sui Feng greeted. No problem, but Vice Captain Sui Feng, this desert is vast and boundless, it seems to be quite suitable for learning from each other. Why don't you warm up now? The corners of Ling Yun's mouth were raised, and a wicked smile was drawn. Before that, Sui Feng challenged twice, but was easily dropped by Ling Yun. A rare opportunity to flirt. Ling Yun naturally won't miss it easily. Sui Feng remained silent. The scenes of the previous 2 failures are still vivid in my mind. No matter how arrogant she is, she will not be impulsive this time and challenge Ling Yun again. Even if Bankai is awakened. Still no chance of winning. Just kidding, don't be an opponent this time, let's fight side by side together. Catching Sui Feng's expression, Ling Yun showed a gentle smile. It is good. Sui Feng gritted his teeth. It was rare to see a blush on her fair and pretty face. With the familiarity of the relationship, the original prejudices and misunderstandings are disappearing bit by bit. Continue to develop at this pace. The day when Sui Feng will be straightened is not too far away. All right, everyone, according to the original plan, let's start acting separately. The various teams spread out in the outer area in a fan-shaped manner, and gradually advance towards the inner circle until they leave the outer circle. Muguruma Kensai, Love Akawa proposed. Seconded. Seconded. Others expressed their views one after another. Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force. Immediately start the cleanup operation. The other side. The most central part of Hueco Mundo, the legendary Void Knight Palace. Although it is named after the palace, strictly speaking, it is just an open-air fortress. Just like the scene that happened before, the Manos Grande exuding a strong aura stood in 2 groups on the left and right sides. They looked at the throne with strong piety. It's like worshipping a god. Everyone, you should be curious, right? Why did you gather all of you together all of a sudden? Baragan sitting cross-legged on his throne. Supporting the white stone platform with one hand, he reigned over the entire Zai Palace like an emperor. Just sitting there motionless, he exuded a breath of silence. Especially the empty pupils, like an abyss that chooses someone to devour. Below the skeleton throne, Manos Grande standing on the left and right sides looked at each other in blank dismay. No one understood the situation. Just then, a Manos Grande with a glasses-shaped mask, a somewhat feminine tone, and a flower-like overall appearance, suddenly walked out of the queue. He held a remote control in his hand, like a scientific research scholar. Zael Aporo, tell me about the information you just learned. The skeleton emperor, who has always been extremely arrogant, rarely put away his contemptuous gaze. That's right. This flower-like Manos Grande is the future mad scientist of Hueco Mundo. One of the espadas that existed from ancient times. Zael Aporo grants. During his lifetime, he was an alchemist. Due to various prohibited experiments, he eventually died suddenly and became a void. After long-term hunting and evolution, as early as hundreds of years ago, it evolved into Vasto Lord. Later, in order to study the perfect life, in order to complete the power of notification of conception. Zael Aporo, who split his body in 2, reduced his strength to a Jukas. Now recruited by Skeleton Lord to become a researcher of Hueco Mundo. You should be very curious about what I found. Zael Aporo stood in the center of the hall, looking at each Manos Grande one by one. Even without Arankar, his words and deeds revealed the unique temperament of a scientist. Zael Aporo, if you have something to say, hurry up, it's really hard to wait. A dissatisfied voice came from the side. Neutra, who looked like a 6-winged mantis and carried a crescent sickle, glanced at him with disdain. Neutra, you are still so impatient. Zael Aporo sneered. TCH, if you are not convinced, just go ahead and fight here. Neutra's fighting spirit rose. Enough. Shut up. I'm not interested in your disputes, Lianos, at all. Baragan on the skeleton throne let out a sullen and low-pitched cold snort, accompanied by a deadly silence. Gulu. After feeling the terrifying aura of the great emperor. Neutra is also good, and Zael Aporo is also good. The 2 swallowed their saliva tremblingly, and closed their mouths wisely. Now back to business. Zael Aporo picked up the remote and pressed one of the buttons. On the side of the Zai Palace fortress, a small surveillance screen slowly landed from the top of the hall. This is Shinigami Yang from Soul Society. Including the skeleton emperor. When all the Manos Grande present looked at the surveillance screen, their eyes changed drastically. That is because, monitor what is played on the screen. It is the expeditionary force that is operating in the outskirts not long after arriving in Hueco Mundo. Chapter 149 The Mysterious Reiatsu. I didn't expect that. Shinigami from Soul Society invaded Hueco Mundo. The entire Zai Palace was in an uproar. The picture on the monitoring screen added a rare color to this eternal night world. It's just a touch of red. Because it means blood and killing. Ha, Shinigami is it. The day is finally here. Neutra laughed wildly, but it seems that there are not many of them. The Skeleton Emperor. Please pay attention, there are only 2 of these Shinigami wearing white haori. Controlled by Zael Aporo. The picture on the monitor screen is constantly changing. Ended up on Muguruma Kensai and Love Aikawa. Even if Hueco Mundo closes again. But after more than 2,000 years of continuation, it is clear what the white feather weave represents. 2 Shinigami captains dare to come to Hueco Mundo to die. The Manos Grandes sneered disdainfully. No matter how strong Captain Shinigami is, in their eyes, he is just a piece of delicious food. Everyone stay calm. Based on 317, according to my estimation, the scope of Shinigami's activities should only be in the peripheral area, and will not go deep into the Void Knight Palace. Zael Aporo made a precise judgment. It's just an activity in the peripheral area. Neutra snorted with a look of displeasure. TCH, I thought it would be a big fight. The entire Hueco Mundo is boundless. The Zai Palace is just in the center, and the outer areas are extremely far away from here. Unless special circumstances occur. Otherwise, the Manos Grande of the Void Knight Palace is not leaving this area. This is where Neutra is upset. Neutra, I think you have misunderstood. Zael Aporo smiled. What's the meaning? Although the Shinigami will not take the initiative to come to the Void Knight Palace, it does not mean that we cannot take the initiative. Zael Aporo deliberately fanned the flames. Zael Aporo, whether you can take the initiative to attack is not up to you, right? Although Neutra is tempted, he is not a fool without a brain. He subconsciously looked at the skeleton throne. Obviously waiting for the Emperor's order, BBDG. Well, I think Zael Aporo has a point. The skeleton's wrists turned outward, and Baragan's voice was hollow as a ghost. My lord, what do you mean? The subordinate officers guarding the surroundings bowed slightly and asked respectfully. For more than 2,000 years, Manos Grande and Shinigami have been at odds. Since Hueco Mundo has been invaded, it cannot be ignored. Baragan sits on the throne, his white forehead stretched and closed. Revealed the boundless power and influence. The great emperor is right, facing Shinigami's provocation, we should take the initiative to attack. Zael Aporo continued to add fuel to the fire. Neutra, Yami. Take the other Manos Grande and go to the outskirts of Hueco Mundo and drive the Shinigami out of Hueco Mundo. Bone's fingers were upturned, and Baragan's words revealed absolute confidence. Yes, great emperor. Neutra named, and Yami next. Unanimously nodded in agreement. Although Mingmian obeyed the order, it could be clearly felt from the facial expressions of the 2 of them. To the Baragan they are but false obedience. In addition to Shu's lack of emotion, the main reason is that he can't deal with the power of aging. Before Aizen came to Hueco Mundo, Baragan, the Skeleton King, is the master of Hueco Mundo. One of its oldest wattage Manos Grande, Reiatsu has absolute dominance. It is by virtue of this power. The Emperor was able to rule Hueco Mundo and forcibly suppress the other Espada. Of course, this situation, with the arrival of Shinigami, will soon be broken. That is because, in the Hueco Mundo Expeditionary Force, in addition to Ling Yun, even Aizen has descended. The other side, the outskirts of Hueco Mundo. It's too weak, it's not even a warm-up, the void in the peripheral area is completely vulnerable. Muguruma Kensai held Zanpakutō in his hand, with a dissatisfied expression. Just a while ago, he used Zanpakutō to break the ground wind, and easily killed a large number of Shu. Exactly what he said. These fights aren't even a warm-up. No threat at all. Kensai, it's better not to inflate easily. This is Hueco Mundo after all, and it is full of crises all the time. Love Aikawa said with a smile. His personality is relatively calm, not as reckless as Muguruma Kensai, so he doesn't swell easily. But let's be honest. 2 Shinigami captains, to deal with ordinary Shu. It is true that there is a lot of fuss over a molehill. I see, let's continue to implement the original plan, anyway, it's still early. Muguruma Kensai held Zanpakutō in his hand, and quickly entered the fighting state. The tall and burly figure left a slanted shadow under the reflection of the cold moon. A new round of fighting has begun. At the same time, the 4th team is here. After preparing the logistics materials, in order to survey the terrain smoothly, under the leadership of Ling Yun, the 4th team also continued to deepen. Although they were constantly attacked by Shu along the way, they were all low-level Shu after all, so naturally they would not pose any threat. Ling Yun 3 seats, almost. If you continue to go deeper, you will lose touch with other teams. Isn't that too reckless? A chairperson makes a suggestion. Don't worry at all, with the current fighting intensity, it is very difficult to cause casualties. Ling Yun knew it well. But this is Hueco Mundo after all. Except for the seat officer, the other members of the fourth squad expressed their concerns one after another. The fourth team, after all, is a medical logistics team, and it is not good at fighting. In case Manos Grande comes, nothing can be said. Move on. Until I say stop. Ling Yun's attitude was firm, and he didn't change his mind. The reason why he is so persistent is not really to take risks. It's because, not long ago, when I was still in the base camp, Ling Yun suddenly sensed that a wave of Reiatsu, which was very different from ordinary virtual reality, was rushing towards this side. Although only for a moment. This unfamiliar fierce Reiatsu immediately caught his attention. Chapter 150 The Leopard King on the Sand Dunes. At the same time, there is another area at a certain distance from where the fourth team is located. Here, in addition to the endless desert, there are endless sand dunes. On one of the dunes, a few figures stood loosely. The aura they exude is not at the same level as other needs in the peripheral area. After sensing their Reiatsu, other voids in this desert. With the fear of death, he instinctively fled in a panic. There was a dead silence. Spreading quietly in this barren land, open. How long is the distance? An unruly voice broke the original tranquility of the desert. The owner of this voice has slender and smooth lines. His whole body is covered with a white shell. Although he is not big in size, he resembles a cheetah. The whole Hueco Mundo, one of the few strong ones who can evolve into Vosh. Grimjow Jagerjackez. Grimjow, a pure fighting maniac. All day long, he clamored to fight. Keen to challenge strong opponents under equal conditions and simply enjoy the fun of fighting. Even though he belonged to Zai Palace, Leopard King was not convinced at all in his heart. Superficial obedience, ignoring the rules. Grimjow, and his subordinate officers, did not like being in the Night Palace. Instead, it often wanders around the periphery of Hueco Mundo. Not long ago, the expeditionary force had just arrived at Hueco Mundo, and the Leopard King, who was far away from the sand dunes, immediately sensed Shinigami's Reiatsu. Adhering to the instinct of killing, he immediately led his subordinate officers towards the direction of the base camp. Regardless of status, regardless of strength. As long as he meets a strong opponent, Leopard King will be brainless and tough. This is his consistent fighting style, even more than 100 years ago. Behind Grimjow, several subordinate officials are also eye-catching. D. Roy, Ilford, Edelad, Nakim, Sharon. Although these Manos Grandes are not as dazzling as the Leopard King. But compared to Zai Palace, those ordinary Manos Grandes still have a certain role. Grimjow, it should be less than an hour away from the location of the Black Cavity. Xiao Long responded respectfully. His main body is a five-clawed insect, with the skin of an insect and the appearance of an armor. The mask on the face is hollow, and the arms are sharp claws. More than 100 years ago now, Xiao Long and the others haven't given up on evolution, and haven't taken the initiative to be eaten by the Leopard King, so they are still at the Ajuka's level. Although it is not as good as the captain-level Shinigami, the gap will not be long. Muguruma Kensai and Love Akawa, once they meet Xiao Long. You can't win without using the power of Bankai. Cut. It's still so long, I can't wait. Grimjow snorted unhappily. Grimjow was right. Soul Society Shinigami, dare to invade Hueco Mundo, this time we must kill them all. Edelad and Ilfit booed. Kill Shinigami. Eat their souls. Under the leadership of the Leopard King. They keep moving in the direction of the base camp. The screen shifts. Go back to where the fourth team is. Almost. The induction is getting stronger and stronger. Ling Yun led the fourth team and finally came to the sand dunes. Looking around, there are endless sand dunes. The pale moonlight shone against the night, leaving a white light and shadow on it. The cold wind howled, piercing the bone marrow. Surrounded by a Shao Sei atmosphere. Ling Yun 3 seats, do you want to move on? The players expressed concern. For ordinary soldiers, even if given 100 courage, they would not dare to go deep into this area. Now it has reached the limit that the heart can bear. Ling Yun didn't answer immediately, but frowned, staring at the sand dunes in the distance. The perception of the strong is relative. Grimjow and the others, every time they advanced a certain distance, Ling Yun's induction became stronger and stronger. Stop. Just wait here. Ling Yun waved his hand. Hearing Ling Yun's words, the members of the 4th Division breathed a sigh of relief. They had originally thought that once they arrived at Hueco Mundo, they would simply stay at base camp and take care of medical and logistical matters. Ask for flowers. Unexpectedly, Ling Yun took them out of the base camp directly. Now it is even more dangerous. Don't be afraid, it's fake. I don't know what Ling Yun is planning for the 3rd seat. That's right, this place is obviously beyond the scope of the survey. Why do I feel that this place is so eerie? There were whispers among the crowd. In fact, most people really can't understand it. Why did Ling Yun insist on coming to this area? That's it. Time passed by. Soon half an hour arrived. Ling Yun, who closed his eyes and meditated, suddenly opened his eyes. Coming. I don't know who it is. Could it be Espada? Ling Yun's gaze fell on the sand dunes. His face was full of anticipation. Through Octavia's Reiatsu perception, he clearly captured the other party's breath. 2 Ajukas, 4 isomeric acids. This lineup, even in Hueco Mundo, is enough to run amok. Although currently, in the deserted Hueco Mundo, there is no concept of an espada. But for Ling Yun, only a Manos Grande of this level can arouse his fighting spirit. Others are simply not qualified. After a while, several figures suddenly appeared on the sand dunes in the distance. Ling Yun gave the order confidently. It's Manos Grande. He recognized the other party's identity at a glance. Ling Yun was both surprised and excited. Ling Yun muttered to himself in a low voice. Definitely let him enjoy a hearty battle. There was a scream from the crowd behind them. The most combative one in Espada, I didn't expect you to take the initiative to find me. Huh, it turned out to be them. An opponent like the Leopard King. Go back to the base camp first. The members of the 4th Division suddenly became a mess. This voice, like a fuse, instantly caused panic. Look over there, Manos Grande has appeared. I'll take care of these Manos Grande. He suddenly felt that the wait was worth it. Grimjow, everyone calm down.